fate is before you. Choose wisely.
Like I work in finance. God bless, no, it's not by chance. Don't dab me, you're not my man. Don't at me, you're not my man. Mama said don't buy it if you cannot buy it twice. I cop by the tools and I don't pump fake with the price. Always on the grind, I put in work with all my might. I know that he got me now by sight. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Vandy's, I slide out Landys, Vito Benji, all black like Daddy. Sit 4 days, that's for sure though. Grinding from the grip, no shame, take a photo. Time to take a trip, we head north to the border. Say you feeling up, I'm my favorite type of hoarder. I got kids to feed, I got enemies, I got God's gift, so they envy me. Got some friends out in Memphis like I'm Aubrey. Got some friends fought for orange like some autumn leaves. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Vandy's, I slide out Landys, Vito Benji, all black like Batman. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Vandy's, I slide out Landys, Vito Benji, all black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like Batman. All black like
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no face, don't need no phonies, no. Need no snakes, no only homies down for show. On go. Get a book and get the front end, we load up and roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a winner. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock hard waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with Tay, girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my.
Ma jolie, oh ma jolie. Yeah. Every time I come around you, baby girl, something doesn't feel the same. You said that I'm changing, but it's really you. I see how you play those games. Wifey type for a maid man. A queen can make moves, a king can't. Snatch you up, now you taking. Gave you bricks, now you building. A wall up. Lately you and I been all off. All love, I don't know what's up with our love. Our love, you forgetting all about us, oh. My jolie, oh my jolie, where are you? When I need you the most, you still MIA. This is murder, heart is melting, girl you got me. Called your bluffing, made you something, now you talking. Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? My jolie, oh my jolie. My jolie, oh my jolie. You don't turn on me now, you don't get no time for me now, babe. Got him on a rebound, but it's only you that I like, babe. Tout ce que j'ai fait c'était pour toi. Sur le haut parlement t'écoutes pas. Tu me vois crever mais tu bouges pas. Pourquoi? Whoa, you're wall up. You can't even get the scars up. For us, I don't know what's up with our love. You forgetting all about us, oh. My jolie, oh my jolie, where you been? When I need you the most, you still MIA. This is murder, heart is melting, girl you got me. This is called your bluffing, need you something, now you talking. I call you bluffing. Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? My jolie, oh my jolie. Girl, you got me. Called your bluffing, made you something, now you talking. Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Telling me to cool it off, cool it off. How can I cool it off, cool it off? Cool it off. I don't know how to cool it off. My jolie, oh my jolie.
I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, he's my mind. All the time, he's my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, he's my mind. All the time, he's my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping Moet for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubbles still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's got a hell behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I balance to my knees when I pray. In my city gritty, gotta keep it on your waist. Or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, he's my mind. All the time, he's my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you.
on child support. Can't see my kids, so I stay in cold. It's my baby mama, she be riding Lexus, finding sugar daddies, and doing setups.
All stand, please. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. The song court now stands adjourned, sine die. God save the state and this honorable court.
Yeah!
That's funny. Mr. Palmer, how you doing, sir? What's going on, dog?
Good, man. I like that.
Man, I gotta get creative, man. I gotta get creative like the Mr. Pisces. Call you the Aquaman. But Mr. Pisces, Mr. Palmer, we have a powerful show today, man. You know, the powers that be, in my opinion, practice cultural Marxism. And I got shut down last night. I don't know why. I got an idea, but I got shut down last night. But we're going to talk about changing the law of your mind. We're going to talk about the importance of why modern men, Mr. Palmer, should change the law of their mind. You went through an evolutionary process as a man. You went through a lot of turmoil. You went through a lot of distress. And we're going to talk about it from the clinical perspective, but also we're going to talk about it from your perspective as a man, and why modern men, Mr. Palmer, should change the law of their mind. Now, I'm going to ask you the question. Who is Mr. Palmer? Tell the audience who you are and why your mission is so important to male empowerment.
Hey, Coach Condition, I'm gonna answer that, but they said your audio sounds real loud. And
It's loud?
It's bad. Yeah, it's kind of off.
Okay, is it loud or off? Which one is it? Hold tight.
Both.
Okay, all right. Feedback on the mic. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this stupid thing, man. I apologize, guys. Yeah,
I apologize because you got me on the show.
Yeah, yesterday, man, they couldn't hear me, and they said high feedback. So, is it better now, guys? Let me know if it's better. If it's better, guys, let me know.
It's the same.
It's the same? All right. How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
That's a little better?
Yeah, I don't hear no static or nothing. What do y'all say, guys?
Yeah, can you guys hear the static? Some say, yeah, some say still feedback. So, all right. Well, I'll try to fix it, guys, as we move forward. Shout out to my man Troy for that $2 super sticker. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Troy. That's the top there. I appreciate that. But who is Mr. Palmer? Tell the audience who is Mr. Palmer and why are you so determined to see males liberated? Tell the audience who you are, brother.
Well, you said it right. You know, I'm for men's rights. I'm for masculation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for you could say the old school role, which
Yes, sir.
is man be the leader of the household. You know what I mean? I'm for equal opportunity when it comes to being a father.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, Mr. Palmer is it's a messenger to spread awareness so people can see things for what it is and see the lies that you've been told for a lot of years. Or
Yes,
what
sir.
society tells you.
Mm-hmm.
Because society tells you that fathers are not important. They tell you that masculinity is not important.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you that you're deadbeats. They tell you that you are not needed in their society.
Yes, sir.
They tell you to switch roles. What do you mean by switch roles? What I mean by switching roles is you don't wear the pants. You wear the panties. You don't lead nothing.
Right,
You step
right.
behind her.
Right.
So when people ask me who Mr. Palmer is, I just say I'm a messenger to speak the truth.
Right.
And the truth is what it is.
The truth is what it is. Yeah, I love it, man. Every time you say it, I die laughing. To the 23 that are watching, hopefully that feedback is not bad. Guys, if you guys can hear me good, let me know. Let me know if the feedback is better. Is it better, Mr. Palmer? Is it better?
It's like when you talk, I'm hearing like a little hissing, like a little whistling.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off this. Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that, but yeah, hopefully we can look.
Oh, you know why it's going on? They like, how dare you bring Mr. Palmer on your channel? You don't do no shit like that. You want
to go. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Well, listen, what you're saying is powerful. What you're saying is needed. What you're saying is very important as it relates to empowering black men. And, we did an Injustice Part 1, and we're going to look at that show a little bit because I'm about scared, showing the clips from other shows and channels on the way they did me last night. I don't know what that was about. They say it was spam, but, I think that they don't want you to change the law in your mind. And
you know what? Hey, Coach, you on StreamYard?
Yes, sir.
What you can do, you can log out and come back on. That might help. It won't shut the live off at all.
Yeah. I know what I'm gonna do. Hold tight.
Okay.
I might just change the mic to something else.
Okay, because I want everybody to hear this.
Yeah. Is that better? Is that a lot better?
Go ahead, talk again.
Can you guys hear me now? Is that better?
Yes, I don't hear no hissing no more. Do y'all hear?
Okay. Right. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better on my end. I just want.
Okay. All right. Shout out to my man, Sir Hill, speak for that $10 super sticker. Thank you guys. Mr. Palmer, could you hear that salute sound, or you couldn't hear it?
No, I don't hear the hiss. Everything's good now.
Did you hear the clapping noise? The animation?
No.
Okay, yeah. Okay, anyway, all right. Shout out to my dear friend Luke Kaiser for the $20 super chat. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate that. Thank you, dear. I appreciate you guys coming in, sharing the content. We're going to have a powerful show on today, man. We're going to have a powerful show, and I don't know what's going on with that hissing noise. I got to figure my board out, but we're going to have a powerful show, guys. But, we talk about, Mr. Palmer, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What does that mean to Mr. Palmer? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And why are so many men in modern times not getting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, in your opinion?
I was just going to tell you that those three things don't mean nothing to me because we're not getting. I was just going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say that life, liberty, that don't mean nothing to us because we're not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why, I'm gonna be honest with you, in my opinion, this is my opinion. The reason why is because it's about money.
Right.
It's about power.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we see today, y'all, whether it's men's rights, equality, the racism, all this could be stopped. Drugs coming into communities, guns coming to communities, everything that goes on that's evil and negative, they can stop it. The reason why they're not going to stop it because it brings them money.
Right.
It brings them power. And what you mean by power? What I mean by power is it keeps them in that seat. And that seat is power. That's why they allow the wicked to run things. That's why they allow evil to have say-so. That's why they allow people who convert over for being a woman to a man have say. Because it's politics and money, which is power and money.
Right.
That's the reason.
Right. And you know what, man? Luke Kaiser is a good woman. She supported a lot of men in the male platform. She's from a country where there was a such thing called cultural Marxism. It basically means that they try to silence you when you talk about issues, Mr. Palmer, that are pertinent to humanity and civility. And you've seen it, I've seen it, and once again, I don't know if that's what happened last night, but it was a fire show, and on the very end, it was shut down. It was weird because it's never happened before, and I pray it don't happen on this stream. So to the guys that are watching, it wasn't anything on my doing. The stream was shut down. I don't know why. They said it was spam or I was using somebody's content. I don't know, but I said fair use. But I don't know if there's a copyright, there's an ID, number that people actually use to more or less, codify their content. But what's your take on that, Mr. Palmer? Has that ever happened to you? Your stream was shut down?
Actually, it happened last week. Lately, people been getting flagged. Tommy Sotomayor's channel got terminated. Other people been getting flagged left and right. The reason why mine's happened because I was going to talk about a baby mama terrorist who used to be a police officer from New York. She was having sex with this chief of police for like 7 years, and she tried to sue him as well as the New York Police Department. I think it was District 85, something like that. She tried to file $100 million lawsuit talking about he made her have sex with her and he was abusive.
Right.
But what saved him was text messages.
Right.
She was still texting this dude talking about, I want to get some of that peen. But yet you playing victim saying that you was forced to do this and forced to do that. And she's a YouTuber. She's on YouTube teaching and doing videos saying black men are male supremacists. Black men hate women. Black manosphere is evildoers who hate women. But yet you doing the devil's deed. And it's all on the New York Post. It's all in the media. It's in court records and everything else. And she did not win. You know what? You got my girl up in here.
Who's your girl?
Tyler.
Who?
I don't know how to say her whole name, but it's she's from Facebook. And we follow each other. Well,
okay.
But we was friends before they took my page down. She's
okay.
For black men.
Good.
She viewed, a matter of fact, on your show, actually.
I would love to have her on my show. And, there are good sisters that are for brothers, And, Mr. Palmer, there's a lot of ignorance concerning these spaces. And I know there are good sisters that come into these spaces to support black males, black men, and black male content. I understand that men are, I would say in theory, I see why. In theory, I would say that women should come into men's spaces. But in principles, I would say no. Because some feel that women come into men's spaces to subvert the movement. They get in their feelings and they try to sabotage it. But watch this. There have been women in these spaces that are mature. There are women in these spaces that are learning. And many times they're quiet and they support us behind the scene. What's your take on women coming into men's spaces, Mr. Palmer? And should there be a limitation when women come into men's space? Because once again, in theory, I say they should be able to come and be part and listen and learn. But I understand where men say, well, they shouldn't come in because it subvert the movement. So in principle, I can see why. But there are men that are in men's spaces and they're worse than the women. What's your take on that? It's a loaded question, but what's your take on that, Mr. Palmer?
Here's the thing. Well, okay, in the black manosphere, when I first came over here, it was supposed to be for all men. And ain't nothing wrong with the men organization because you got so many female organizations and everything else.
Right.
And we're not allowed to go over there. So I don't see nothing wrong with it being just for men.
Right.
Now, do I personally have a problem with women coming on my platform? Not at all.
I don't either.
The reason why, because when I talk about men being alienated and men getting done unjust, you have stepmothers, you have mothers who got sons that's been through the same situation. You have women who are in a relationship with a man who's going through it. So I definitely want them around. But as far as these baby mama terrorists, these are the ones that come in and infiltrate, take your talking points, and then use that against another man.
Right.
So I mean, me personally, as far as my page, no, I don't mind. But
right.
Let the women know that we need you just as much. But as men, we have to be on the front line. We have to lead at this, because if we call ourselves alphas, we saying we want to be lead, we want to do it the traditional way, then you need to be out here on the front line first.
Right.
But see, a lot of dudes that say that, but really they want the woman to be ahead of them. That's why you're not respected.
Right.
So, as far as me on my page, no, I don't have no problem with that at all.
No doubt.
But
No doubt.
As far as the men's space, I say it should just be men. Because that's how it was before. Look at it now that it got infiltrated. And it's not just because of women. You got more sympathy forces that infiltrated, and these collective plate pimps that flip the script.
Right.
Men under the bus.
Right.
I can't say it's the women's fault, because it's the men that held their hand and brought them in. So.
Right. And sadly, I would expect the women to be emotional, Mr. Palmer, but some of these men are worse. They don't really come in with a mindset for male advocacy and male empowerment. I'm not against men making money. You and I both are content creators. We both know making shows and doing content is very time consuming. Sometimes 5 and 6 hours trying to put together content. But will I more or less, how can I say it, put my character in place for the sake of making money? I can't do that. That's not part of who I am. But do I want to make a profit for working hard and doing research and putting in the time? Of course I do. You know, Mr. Palmer, these shows are time consuming. Tell the audience about how time consuming these shows are.
Well, it's definitely very important that we get y'all support, because it's not easy. One,
Not easy.
it's not easy at all. One, it's not easy. Two, it's like a job. Three, we putting our necks on the line to lose our jobs. If you got a job, you lose your livelihood because you got people that's out to get you. It's that serious, especially when you talk about topics that people are scared to talk about because they know it's going to go against the establishment.
Against the savage, right.
Oh, you know what I mean? So it's very important that people like you support donation, spreading awareness, spreading the word. It ain't always about the dollar amount, you know what I'm saying? And being there, that what makes content creators such as me and Kosher to keep it going.
Right.
Because what I always tell y'all on my channel, the majority is not going to side with you.
Right.
The majority is going to go against you when you speak truth. See, when you speak lies and it benefits them, see, it's all good. See, you cool. But when you speak out the truth and call it for what it is, see, now all of a sudden you a blasphemer. Now all of a sudden they will set you up for failure. Now all of a sudden you hateful. Oh, you a pick me. Your mama black, and oh, if you broke, just say so. All these things that I've been telling y'all for quite some time. Y'all seeing it for what it is.
Right.
Anytime you go against the code, like if you turn around and say, like for example, Chris Brown, that woman came out the woodwork, say he raped me. She won $20 million. Everybody went swarming down like vultures. Yeah, he did it. Yeah. I never
Right.
This, right? But people start calling it out, saying, nah, that I don't believe that. That ain't right. Woo out the bam. Guess what? Oh, you hate women.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Oh, you one of them. You a male supremacist. And
Right.
Guess what though? He come out them text messages. And all of a sudden, they got quiet.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right.
See, and nobody get in trouble, nobody get charged of perjury, anything else. And it's swept under the rug. We as men have to stop being quiet.
Right.
Because that right there could happen to one of y'all. See, what if he didn't have them text messages? What if he didn't have the money to even get a lawyer to fight? This is why I say it's very important to spread awareness when it comes to men getting done unjustly.
Right.
So people can know that this really go on for the ones that really want to take heed to what it is. The rest of the hell with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it got real quiet, didn't it? Yeah, it got real quiet. Yeah, it got sign of the lamb. They're gonna make excuses and say, well, he just got away with it. He had to do something, and you can show them text messages, they still say he did it. So this is what I'm saying, as definitely men, we have to put this on the front line.
Right.
And don't care about what these jokers say. You know what I'd say on my channel. I get to talking Reverend X. See, I let it know real quick how I stand. Y'all know, but I ain't gonna do it on Coach's channel. They'll say,
yeah, don't do it.
They'll say he's supposed to dummy off Cottage Grove. But yeah, man, that's why I say it's very important to keep speaking your truth. A lot of you women out here speak the truth and tell it what it is, and they hate y'all too.
Well, you're right. I take a very big risk. Sometimes I'm like, man, why do you do this? I don't know. I'm like Jeremiah. It's like fire shut up in my bones. Can you hear me? Good, Mr. Palmer?
It's starting to hiss again. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Hold tight. Yeah, I got to get in contact with you, man, because I'm still trying to figure this stupid thing out. How about that?
Oh, good. I get it.
Yeah. You guys gonna have to bear with the hissing. But shout out to the Ingram Expense for that $50 support. He said,
"That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?"
I gotta do. Yeah, I'll talk with you, Mr. Palmer, in the back about this hissing doors. I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good with me.
I gotta figure this board. Yeah,
it's all good.
right.
I told you because I'm on here, man.
Right. And listen, guys, share this content, share this show. Let's get this stream up to at least 100 people, man. I'm trying to be like Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer killing the game, man.
Don't say that, bro. I ain't. Look, I'm gonna tell you what I told my supporters, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Right. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, and I told you, I guarantee you, I don't give a care about no 10,000 subscribers. And the reason why, because I guarantee you, only 15 to 20% of them is gonna be the one who really supports. Right. And what I always tell y'all, when it comes to soldiers, I don't want no soldiers. I want killers. So I'd rather have 100 killers than 1,000 soldiers, because a lot of them soldiers gonna go AWOL. They're gonna kill another soldier and all that stuff. So I don't care about the numbers. That don't mean nothing. Right.
And go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I could care less about the numbers. The numbers don't mean nothing. It's the action and the support.
I don't care about that. And you got good sisters like Shalakimia Moffat. Shout out to my dear friend Shalakimia. I call her the next Sherazad Ali. You got good sisters like Luke Hazley. You got good sisters, that are genuine. They're good women that are trying to learn, because, Mr. Palmer, they understand the importance of having men in their corner. They understand the importance of having men in their circle. They understand the importance of having men in community. Some of these women have done a lot of shallow work. They look within themselves, Mr. Palmer. They said, I made mistakes, but I'm willing to learn from the error of my way. I'm willing to go back in time and do everything in my power to help men, because guess what? These women have sons, Mr. Palmer. They have sons. And so, to the women that are watching, what would you do if your sons were accused of malfeasance? What would you do if your son was given a verdict of injustice? What would you do if your son was dealing with mental health pathology because he was accused of things that he didn't do? That's traumatizing to a man. But anytime men begin to speak out, masculine men speak out, like Mr. Palmer and myself, you're toxic. You hate women. Your mama's black. Now understand that your daddy is black too.
Well, that's the thing. I don't understand. They never say my daddy black, because I had a daddy too.
Right.
So that's why I don't take that seriously, because I had a father too. Why do you think? See, that's the thing. You say your daddy, they whatever. You say your mama, they're going to uproar.
Right.
Say my daddy too. I had a daddy too.
Right. And you know what it is, Mr. Palmer? It's the hyena spirit. That's exactly what it is. It's the spirit of the hyena. Hyena women, and you got a lot of male simps that are hyenas, and the simple force. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, Mr. Palmer. We're gonna talk about it, but guys, get this stream up, because they hit me in the head last night, man. Share this content. Let's get these subs up, man. Because every time I do shows like this, I might not have no subs.
I'm glad you spoke on Shalakima. I've been knowing Shalakima for a couple of years off Facebook.
Yeah, she's a good sister, man. Good sister.
Yeah, and we were supposed to do an interview sometime last year, but schedules. She busy, I'm busy. I've been watching her before I even was on YouTube. I started my F Child Support on my Facebook. Like I told y'all, I started from Facebook. So when the cats on here talking about, you only got, at the time I had 3,000-4,000 views. They like, I'm like, dude, I got 200. Before they took it down, I had 200,000 on my page. What are you talking about? So she always spoke the truth when it comes to the importance of men.
Right.
And she even said a long time ago that she changed her ways, because she didn't see things for what it was, but now she do.
Right.
So and that goes to show how long I've been watching. It's been time watching, and I ain't said a word.
Right.
I didn't know she had a YouTube channel till maybe 6 to 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was just on Facebook, so it's good to know, because I definitely want her to come on my show.
Yeah, right.
And they hate her.
Yeah.
They hate her.
Yeah. They hate her big time, man. And she's a good sister, man. She's one of those sisters that's trying to learn. She's one of those sisters that they call mammies, pick-me's. They call Chantel Simone a mammy and a pick-me.
Let me I'm glad you said that. I'm glad
you
said that. Let me tell y'all, and I say it's on my channel, this pick-me jive to Chantel and to Kima, don't entertain that, because here's the thing, and I made this definition up. A pick-me is not a woman who take up for a man who's speaking the truth. A pick-me is a man or woman who pick and choose who's right, who's wrong, who's real, who's not, who's telling the truth or a lie based off who they like and don't like. That's what a pick-me is. Someone who pick and choose based off who they like and don't like. Don't entertain that BS rhetoric called pick-me, because you say this guy's actually telling the truth and I support the truth. Don't entertain that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely shaming language, man. It's
man.
definitely shaming language. And, in the clinical world, Mr. Palmer, we call it, magnification. It's the magnification of good women in a negative way to shame them into silence. That's part of culture Marxism. Shame folks into silence. They can't speak out. They can't say nothing because anything that's the truth now, Mr. Palmer, you're bashing. If you say anything that's the truth, you can point out evidence and show it, and folks will say you're bashing. And it's very delusional thinking. In the clinical world, we call it a syntonic ego, when they think that what they're thinking is actually right. And if you look at it through the lens of the theology, Mr. Palmer, they say in the last days they won't love the truth, and we live in a world now where the truth is the new lie. And you can give folks the evidence, you can show it to them, and they'll still say, no, you hate folks, it's a mental illness, man. I say simping is a mental illness, because simps, they defer their masculinity to assuage, toxic women. They got the spirit of Ahab. Ahab was a simp, and they just tap dance, they drag their knuckles, Mr. Palmer. They don't have no respect. They got low self-esteem. They're trying to turn you in. They'll turn me in. They'll shut up good men, good brothers, good masculine black men that are trying to stand firm, because guess what, Mr. Palmer? Women only respect power and strength. They look up to masculine men. That's in their nature to look up to masculine men. But until they change the law in their mind, Mr. Palmer, they're going to continue on that negative cycle of foolishness and rejection. But I want to ask you a question, Mr. Palmer. What happened to honor and respecting black men? What happened to honor and respecting black men, but not just black men, American men? What happened to that?
Well, before I answer that, I want you and everybody to understand, don't entertain the word bashing. Please don't, because they use certain words loosely. Like the term deadbeat does not mean a man who don't pay their child support, or a man who's on child support, or a man who abandoned his family. A deadbeat is a person, man or woman, who do not pay their financial debt, meaning their bills. I'm just letting y'all know the deadbeat term was created by what's his name? The first black president, Bill Clinton.
Right.
And it was also created in the court system. They use that term deadbeat. The deadbeat means of anybody who do not pay their financial obligations. So if you don't pay your house note, you don't pay your car note, you consider a deadbeat. Now let's get to bashing. Bashing does not count if you're telling the truth. Bashing means violent physical assault, or they call it severe criticism, but it ain't severe criticism if you're speaking the truth.
Right.
So don't entertain, like I say, they'll say, Kima's bashing black women. How is she showing the truth and speaking the truth? It's not bashing. See,
she's speaking the truth, right?
They use words too loosely. That's what I say. Don't get in your feelings and entertain that. Now the other questions kind of asked me that question. I just wanted to make it real clear, because people really use that bashing term as a defense mechanism to shame you and hurt your feelings or something. Right. That's BS. What was your question again, bro?
So I asked the question: what happened to honor and respecting men? Not just black men, American men. American men would be white men, black men, Latin men, or whatever. What happened to honor and respecting men? There was a time, Mr. Palmer, when I remember growing up, more men got honor and respect. What happened to that, in your opinion?
They are taught because, and when I talk about these baby mama terrorists, they don't have no color. When I talk about this court system against men, they don't have no color. The reason why that happened, because they don't want the nuclear family. They want the man to be out the house. They want the man to be inferior. They want, again, it's the reason for it is the power and the money, separation. If the man is in the house, for example, if the man is in the house and the man is the lead, he's raising his children along with the mom, you're going to have less crimes, less drug addicts, less school dropouts, better children, better life, better society. But as long as you have that man outside the house or not involved, then guess what? That child most likely going to be in the streets more, alcoholics, drug addicts, school dropout, early pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies, go to jail. That's going to be less money in the cookie jar.
Right.
It's about money and power. And also, when the man's in the house, most men are cheap. Most men is not going to spend. If you look at the stats, it shows that women spend, 72% more They are number one consumers.
Mhm.
It will be a benefit to the government that they keep it that way.
Right.
Keep that money in that system. It's all about money and it's all about power. Again, they don't want the man to be important or a need. So they put out that rhetoric that be independent and strong. You don't need no man. You got government daddy. We're gonna look out for you. We'll give you what you need. We'll give you handouts. We'll be that kid's father. We'll raise that child. And as long as that go on, they will always get that money in that cookie jar. And I ain't even talking about child support.
Yes, sir. You're 1,000% correct. You are 1,000% correct about that. Guys, to the 50 that are watching, let's get this stream up to 100. I need at least 5 people to share this stream. We had a powerful show last night. I don't want you guys to miss this, but Mr. Palmer is going to give you guys some powerful information. Mr. Palmer is an advocate for male empowerment. He's been on the war cry for years, and I love his work. He's very funny. You know, some say he's raw, but it doesn't bother me because you know, you can't refute what he's saying. You know, he's like he's like John the Baptist crying in the wilderness. And you know, when men, we need more men like Mr. Palmer. We need men with integrity. We need men that can get together and come together. And you know, Mr. Palmer, many times in these spaces, a lot of men got beefs. You know, it's this, you know, these manosphere beefs. And you know, some guys might have beef with you, but I don't have beef with you. So you know, I always say, if I bring guys on my platform, there might be guys on my platform that other men might not like, but I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm going to treat men the way they treat me. If Mr. Palmer's treating me right and he's been a good brother, I'm going to keep treating him right. I'm going to keep supporting him just like he supports me, because this brother has been one of the few brothers that supports me 100% on his platform. He always called me out. I'm one of the kind of guys, if I use people's ideas, I say shout out to Mr. Palmer for changing the law in your mind, because I didn't create that term. And so I like to make sure I give Mr. Palmer his credit. Some guys are trying to take your ideas and your thoughts, and they get credit for it, and they won't even shout you out. And I call it cyber plagiarism. But I like to support good brothers like him, because his mission is not just for black men. His mission is for all men. Shout out to my man Roshak for this $2 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Excellent Pro for that $10 super sticker. He said shout out to Mr. Palmer and the culture clinician. He said, I thank you for all you do. Thanks for that $10 cash app. Shout out to Top Gun. He said, Hubert Davis said to adjust that echo control. Shout out to my man Gregory Scott. And Gregory Scott, it's a great show. He said, great topic. It's funny how some content creators have issues with live stream interference. I've seen this happen to the Crimson Cure. They trying to stop strong messages. You're right.
That's a deal, right? 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 That's a deal, right?
About to get popping, but they shut it down in midstream, and it is what it is. I'm not going to take it personal. It is what it is. I just got to learn how to be smarter and wiser when it come down to talking about certain things. But Mr. Palmer, what do you remember about the women of the old? You know, your mother passed away. You know, my sister just died recently. Yeah, appreciate it, man. About maybe about a month and a half ago. And so when you look at women of the past, like your mother and your great grandmother, what did you see in your mother and your great grandmother that you don't see in these modern Western women? What did you see in your mother and your great grandmother that you don't see in modern women?
Well, I went around as far as my great grandmother. She passed. My grandmother though, and my mom was a good woman. She didn't believe what a lot of these baby mama tell believe today. You know, she's for the family. She was God fearing, and when it was all said and done, my dad was the head of the household, and she was independent, because ain't nothing wrong with being independent if need be. Right. Because if the man falls or the man gets sick or the man passes away, you gotta do what you gotta do. Right, so it's not saying that women don't have the knowledge or don't be independent. It's the fact that when you think that you can take over that man, and y'all supposed to be married and supposed to have a covenant, that's a problem. You switching roles. But my mom was a good mother. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. She She's worked for the Board of Education. She the one who taught me. She said, "Boy, don't you ever depend on no woman to take care of you." She the one that taught me that.
Right.
You know, she always taught me do for self. You know, and my dad always said, "God bless child has his own."
Right.
But my mom taught me, as well as my dad, old school values. See, I had older parents, and I was the youngest.
Right.
So having older parents is also a difference as well, because it's a pro and a con. Because the old school, they don't understand what's current, what's going on. They'll tell you, you know, hell nah, I ain't with that, and that's just that. But the old school was, I learned a lot about history, and I was able to go do my own research about the truth when it comes to history and Black history. I learned about old school music. I ain't just listen to just rap or R&B. You know, we traveled to the South because of my mama. Because my mom's from Mississippi, Shibuya, Mississippi. My dad's from Blythe, Arkansas. Me and my mama go to Mississippi every year, and I learned about being on a farm and living a good life out there. Actually, it's just slow, but you can live a good life living the farm life and make money. So I learned a lot of stuff from my mom. But she the one told me, don't you dare depend on a woman to take care of you.
Right.
You know, a lot of factors, man. A lot of factors. Too much to explain. But let me now. This is what I did disagree with my mom. But you know how it go. It is what it is. My mom believed that, hey, because I used to work for the county, you got a good job. If my mom was living today, she'll definitely would have got in my butt for quitting my job. Because they believe in, hey, you got a good job, don't leave it. When you say you want to start your own business, they look at you crazy. They don't understand because all they know is to work for somebody else.
Right.
And also when it comes to politics, my mama used to say vote Democrat because they was for black people and poor people.
Right.
Which we already know that Democrat is just as much as a fraud as a Republican. So we would have disagreed with that. She wouldn't vote for no Donald Trump. You know, so I mean, other than that, man, she was a great mom and she was there for me. She had values. She loved family. She was there for my dad. She definitely raised me the best way she could. And I had females I used to deal with that was jealous of me and my mom's bond.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And that's because a lot of them don't have that bond with their mother.
Right.
You know, and that's why you got a lot of baby mama tears out here now. Because they hate their mom and they definitely hate the father. You know, so a lot of people was definitely jealous of that. So, you know, that's really about it with my mom, man.
Does Mr. Palmer hate Black women, or is it the behavior? Because many accuse you, Mr. Palmer, which is a form of injustice, of hating Black women. I know you don't hate Black women, but I don't want to leak this question.
I love Black women.
Right. Yeah, I love them too. I just don't love some of the behavior, some of them, but I love them too.
Here's the thing, though. This is nothing. This is why I have a problem with the fake Black pros. See, you can't sit back and say white supremacy is causing all this when you got white supremacy living in your house. Or you had a kid with white supremacy. And what I mean by that is the ones who they say they're against white supremacy, they for their Black brothers, but at the same time, they'll call white supremacy to set you up for failure.
Right.
So when you ask me, do I hate Black women? Nope. Because I talk about Black women, white women, Hispanic women, Mexican women. I call them all out. When it comes to a baby mama test, the baby mama test come in all forms. I don't have no color.
Right.
When it comes to that.
Right. Al Karen, Al Keisha, Al Wallamellanisha.
I'll see Rita, I'll Chang, and the rest of the gang. Y'all already know how I get down.
Man, you're a funny dude, man.
When I first started, the first thing they tried to use, I hate Black women.
Right.
They saw it wasn't working because I call them all out, so they say I hate women.
Right. And you know what? You can't make it up, man. It's the same about guys that travel. You know, they say, "Oh, you travel to deal with Asian women or white women," but then when black men get other foreign black women, it's still a problem. So
right, they say you still a self-hater.
So, you still a self right.
I don't hate black women. I'd be a fool and a sucker. My mama black. Ain't that what y'all tell me? My mama black. So the thing is, I don't like the toxic. I don't like evil. I don't like devil son-in-laws. I don't like alienators. I don't like anybody that tries to destroy a child by keeping the father out the picture because of a personal vendetta.
Right.
So no, I don't. That's why I tell y'all, baby mama tears and the mother, or a black woman or a woman is different. That's why I don't explain and say, oh, I ain't talking about all. When I say baby mama tears, I'm talking about all them goofies. Oh, man, I'm gonna be cool. I'm being cool on your child, man, because I'll be going in. But it's a difference between the two. You know what I mean? So like I said, with as far as black women know better, because black women is not going to throw their man under the bus because of the situation they have. They're going to have him to be a father, and I'll just step aside and we do what we do. See, that black women are queens, because a queen ain't going to X no man out the picture just to hurt him. But actually, what you don't realize, you definitely destroying that child. Right.
And you
like pro seriously, bro.
And you know what the crazy thing is about it, man? No other ethnic group of men call their women queens but black men. That's why it never made any sense when they say you don't like black men. Black men call their women queens, you know. They say queen. You know, we call them queens. So how can you hate a black woman if you call them queens? But some of that, Mr. Palmer, is the matriarchy. You know, we've been so conditioned to bow. In other cultures, men don't bow. They actually hold their head up and be men. To the 51 that are watching, guys, get this stream up. Share this content. We got the honorable. We got Judge Palmer in the house. You know, they call Mr. Palmer a Pookie. Well, I got a Pookie in a suit. I had to put a suit on him for Sunday, you know, because they all.
Right. I'm a Pookie, but I've never been a kid in my life.
Right. And you know, he got the fresh suit on, man. It was fun. I'm gonna be the Pookie today. I'm gonna have on the hoodie, and I'm gonna put Mr. Palmer in the suit. I'm gonna take the role of a Pookie today because I felt like turning into a Pookie last night when they shut me down. But guys, get this stream up to 100 people. Go support Mr. Palmer, child support. Go support his channel. He's a good brother. He's an honorable brother. I respect him highly. I look forward to doing more shows with him in the future. He always holds me down. He's helped my channel because he understands the importance of mental health. But guys, get this stream up to at least 100. Let's get the likes up. Share this content. Share this content with as many people as you can. Share with like-minded men and women, at least 5 to 10 people to share the content. You guys did an awesome job last night. And help me help this channel grow, because every time I do shows like this, you know, I take a hit, you know, and sometimes I say, I don't know why I keep doing these shows, because it doesn't benefit me, you know, from a growth perspective. Right. I take hits because, you know, my channel is not that big, you know, and so you want to grow it. But it's like I'm growing backwards, but I'm growing backwards because I'm standing for truth. And I'm standing for truth once again because there are not a lot of therapists that are black men. There are not a lot of therapists that are black male, that are masculine. And, you know, I get it all the time, Mr. Palmer. I'm 6'5", 6'6", and, you know, people say he got a strong personality. And I'm saying I'm just being myself. I don't know what you mean by strong personality. I'm just being me. It's masculinity under attack, Mr. Palmer, because I've been attacked and you've been attacked. But it's masculinity under attack. And if so, tell the audience why.
It's been under attack. We just ain't paid no attention, you know. But it's been under attack. Anytime you trying to take the money, not the money, you trying to take the man out the household for welfare, or take him out the household, you know, so you can be independent and strong. That's one of the main reasons. You know, another thing, and some of y'all probably gonna get offended by this, but another reason why it's under attack, because they trying to raise our boys to be alphabets. You know, they with the stuff they show on TV and cartoons and teaching in the schools and stuff like that.
Right. So
it's a lot of different factors on why masculinity is in jeopardy, because a lot of these baby mama terrorists choose single motherism. They choose to be single mothers, and when the son or the man don't have no masculinity there, he's going to imitate his mother.
Right.
And just because you're not gay, don't mean you're not emasculate. Don't mean that it can't happen to you, because you might have the frame of a man, but at the same time, you are emotional, you weak, you can't stand on your own, you can't be a lead. You got a woman that you got to hold her hand so you can keep it going. You have to get her opinion and thoughts and everything else. You can't think for yourself. It's a lot of factors. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be an alphabet to be emotional and stuff like that, or have feminine ways.
Right.
So don't get it twisted. It's a lot of straight dudes that is just as much emotional and feminine as an actual alphabet.
True. Right.
But if you call that out, they say, "Oh, you hate the alphabet community." No, I don't. You have to do as you please.
Right.
But a lot of factors is because ain't no masculinity in the house. And
no masculinity in the house, right? Anybody
that's a single mother, that's what I say. All single mothers ain't bad, but the majority are, because the majority of my baby mama terrorists. Here we go right here. Just because you don't have the man in the house or the man ain't in the picture is no excuse why your son or daughter don't have no type of masculinity around. Now, I'm saying what I mean by that. I'm not saying have some dude you met off eBay to be up in your household, or some dude you met off Amazon. I'm talking about the grandfather. I'm talking about the uncle. I'm talking about your maybe your nephew or a coach. You need some type of male figure to be around your child, especially your son. But unfortunately, you got these baby mama terrors that have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up in there, and you call them all your uncle, and you call this dude your daddy, even though the actual father is trying to find out where you located because you moved for the 5th time. So yes, it's a lot of different factors on why we're in danger. We've been in danger. Just look around what we see on TV. Just in cartoons alone, you see how they bring in this alphabet agenda in cartoons.
Right.
And in Illinois, because I'm in Chicago, in Illinois, they passed a law in 2019. They must teach alphabet history. It's mandatory in the schools now. And also feminism. This third wave feminism, because this first wave is totally different from the third wave.
Right.
Control, take over, dictate, and destroy man.
Right.
And the thing about it is, if they get caught in the same thing like you, they can play victim. That's the only difference. They don't want equal opportunity. They want to take over.
Right.
So the alphabet and the feminism is neck and neck. They fighting against each other. But we lower the totem pole because we don't have our own brotherhood. That's why I say we have to change the laws of mind and build our own brotherhood. You see how
that is true.
Whether you like them or not, they move in numbers.
They're moving numbers, right?
They move in numbers. When it comes to men, we don't, because it's only a select few, a minority of real masculine men versus the simple force that look like men, but they got these traits of both of them.
Well, you know, they're hyenas, man. Hyenas are androgynous. The hyenas, Mr. Palmer, they look like men. They look like women. Shout out to my man, brother in love, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, brother. He said, my Tar Heels going to win today, man. We got to play St. Peter's. And we play St. Peter's. We'll be going to the Final Four, but I got my fingers crossed. That's going to be a good one. But thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let me finish reading out these other super stickers real quick, and then we're going to get deeper into this show. I appreciate everything the brothers are doing. I appreciate that. Shout out to my man, Andrew Baker. Shout out to Andrew Baker. He's a good supporter. Thank you, sir.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
I appreciate that, Andrew Baker. He says, salute Mr. Kosher and Mr. Palmer, two kings holding manhood down, keeping up the great work, and real men supporting the both of you, no doubt. And you know, Mr. Palmer, it's men like Andrew Baker and Alton Prayer and Luke Hazley and the Ingham Experience and James Turner and other brothers that give Miss Parker back to basics. When they give and support the content, it makes our time worth it, but also it makes it worth it because of the hit that we take. You and I both take a hit. I take a greater hit because I'm a licensed therapist, because the things that we talk about, many therapists won't talk about it because it's not PC. You know, they don't talk about men rights. You know, anytime I seek to empower men or black boys or boys in general, You're a misogynist. You hate women. No, I believe in equality of boys and girls. I believe boys and girls should be treated equally. I don't believe that we exonerate our girls at the behest of our boys, because the warrior class can rise no higher than the class that nurture it to being warriors. But, Mr. Palmer, we got so many simps that subvert any movement that black men start. They'll take masculine men and make it seem like we're bad. They'll use us as scapegoats. And they'll say, well, it's men like Mr. Palmer and the kosher clinician. They're the ones that's causing problems in our community. We got the solutions, but a lot of times the solution is just pandering. They don't really have any real solutions, Mr. Palmer. They just pander. They pander for likes. They pander for money. They pander for subscribers because, like I said, I take hits during these shows. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do them. Because I be taking serious hits, man. And, being a licensed therapist is hard. The trials and the tests of Mr. Palmer. The trials and tests of Mr. Palmer. What were some of your struggles in prior relationships? And also, how did those prior relationships lead up to Mr. Palmer and the child support movement? What were your struggles in prior relationships?
Well, it wasn't really no struggles, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. When I started the child support, it was because I got tired of the bull. You know what I'm saying? Run around telling people that, oh, you on child support is because you didn't want to be a father. Father's not important. Fathers, black men are deadbeat fathers. They the worst deadbeats. And we don't need fathers. Children don't need fathers, stuff like that. I wasn't even on no child support situation when I came out with this. Mm-hmm. So for people that be like, you did it because you got, I did it because I was tired of hearing the society's rhetoric talking about some fathers ain't important, and if you on child support, you don't want to be a father, because that ain't what I come up on. Mm-hmm. When I was living in the neighborhood, ain't nobody know about no child. Wasn't nobody going to no child support because everybody had a father in the house. It was a few that didn't have a father in the house because they was on drugs. So, but for the most part, it was a family unit. But in this day and age, it's worse now than ever had. That was back in the 80s. So, as far as relationships, I didn't have them problems because, like, for me, I didn't have my first child till I was 26 years old. I was living a free agent lifestyle back then before I even knew what a free agent lifestyle was. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Mm-hmm. I didn't have no kids at a young age or a teen or nothing like that. I waited till I thought I was ready. My kids was playing. But the thing about it is, when you dealing in relationships or marriage, sometimes you think you know that person, you don't know that person. And sometimes it's like you don't find out till after the fact, after you get married or after you have the child or when she's pregnant, and then all this stuff come out. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, when you get to a relationship and you decide, hey man, it's time for me to make a move, and y'all got kids together, you have that one person that will use that child to destroy you, because they know that two things to destroy a man is the children and they assets, they money. That's a man's kryptonite. Mm-hmm. That's a woman's power. Control of your kids, dictate the kids, use the kids as pawns, weapons, shields, rocket launcher, and take your money, and you got to pay alimony or spouse support and all that stuff. So, I mean, what was my wake-up call when I was doing this channel? I was doing on Facebook. Going through my court, I was trying to get equal parenting. Served papers, did it the right way, because at the time, I didn't know the course was like that. I knew I was tired of the stigma about child support. And this system is being full of with fathers. But my wake-up call, what made me go all out to where I'm at today was, I don't have a criminal record. I was working at the Cook County Hospital for 15 years. At the time, I was there for 15 years. The kids was playing. We lived in the same house. We did it the right way. Only thing, we weren't married. Mm-hmm. That judge told me and told everybody, I don't believe in equal parenting time. He said he don't believe in equal parenting time. I stayed 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. Of course, she wants sole custody. And when it was all said and done, I showed the receipts being alienated and stuff like that. It didn't make a difference. He said best interest of the children. And at the end, when it was all said and done, why he told me, I don't know. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was just put me on game. You know, that judge told me, he said, it's my job to make the courts money.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, that was that wake-up call, like, wait a minute, it's your job to make the courts money. So I started doing more research. That's when I started talking about this system when it comes to child support is a $51 billion business.
51 billion, right.
And that 85% of men, or 85 to 90% of men, are on child support. Only 17.5% of men have custody in the United States. That's 1 out of every 6.
Right.
And out of the 17.5%, 63% of them are white. 14.1% of them are black. And 18.4% is Hispanic. And then before then, like I said, before that, I'm thinking it was a black problem. You know, hey man, they heard the black man, this. I had white brothers start hitting up my Facebook saying, no, it ain't just blacks. We get it just as much. Actually, they get it worse.
Right.
So that's when I started learning through a lot of these white dudes and started doing interviews. This before I even got on YouTube. Start looking at videos, start doing working with fathers' rights movement. The fathers' rights was started by white dudes. And it started back in 1960s, but they sit back and say ain't no problem when it comes to custody between the mother and the father. You can't make this up. Also, I didn't realize it was a $51 billion business. I didn't realize that the judge get a piece of the child support. I didn't realize that the state get a portion of the child support. I didn't realize the federal government get a piece of this child support till a couple of days ago.
Right.
So when I realized that, oh man, it was time to go in. You know, because people always say do it the right way. You go to court, serve papers, this. And I'm gonna let Denzel speak for Malcolm X right quick.
Go ahead.
You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
So now what I do, I inform men and even women who cares. This is what it is. This system is not about the children. These baby mama terrorists are not about the children. And the ones who see it for what it is with proof, receipts, and everything else is there. Because I don't want to see the future go through the same thing I went through, thinking that it's about what's right, thinking that this woman you thought was a woman, no, she's a baby mama terrorist. Because any parent that use their children as weapons to hurt another person, one, you take away a child's innocence.
Right.
That's one thing.
Right.
Children. And I'm gonna say it again. Any parent, I'm gonna say most of these baby mama terrorists. Any parent that use that child to alienate the child out the picture, manipulate the child out the picture and all that stuff, I don't care if she buying them the world, treat them like kings and friends or whatever, they do not love them children. Because the worst thing you could do to a child is take away their child's innocence.
Right.
The worst thing you could do is take away a child's innocence. And if you're willing to do that just to hurt another person, then you do not love your children. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much money you got for on your life support, life insurance form. I don't care how much you dress them like suits and make them look like kings and everything else. You do not love your children. That's just a hologram just to send them off and make them keep thinking that you the most best parent in the world. So that's why I'm doing what I do now. And I told y'all know my sound bite when it comes to Reverend X. I don't care what you think, because I want you to come on here and say I'm lying and prove me wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All these years, they told us that black men are the face of being deadbeats, when in actuality, child support was created for the white man who was abandoning their families. They pay the most money in child support. They on child support more than anybody. They commit the most suicides when it comes to alienation and child support. Number 2 is Indians. Men or fathers are the better parent than the mothers.
Right.
And also, when it comes to who be the most abusive when it comes to children and child neglect and child fatalities, it ain't fathers.
Right.
It's mothers.
Right. It's mothers, right. And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about it. To the guys that have donated, if you guys want to, you can continue to donate through Cash App, $7 Smalls. I don't know what happened last night. I don't know in situations where they shut the stream down, they take your money. Is that the case, Mr. Palmer? Did they take your money, or you still get your money? Did they shut the stream down?
No, they still whatever you got from the super chats, you get that. It's just they shut it down, and they usually send you an email or something telling you if you got a strike or not.
Right. No, I didn't get a strike. It was a warning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not when you get the 3 strikes.
It wasn't a strike.
But if you get a strike, they give you 90 days. If you be cool for 90 days, they take it back.
Take it back off. Right.
Ain't like Facebook.
Right. We talk about psychological abuse and the evils of the modern woman, and I got a clip that I'm going to play. You've been on a lot of attack here lately, Mr. Palmer, along with other men. Some people associate you with the manosphere, but you're not necessarily the manosphere. You're just part of male empowerment as well as myself.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'm part of the manosphere. I don't really consider myself manosphere. I consider myself me doing me. I started my show called the Manhood Chronicles back in 2000 last year. Actually, I did some shows with Dr. Tia Johnson and a few other brothers where we were talking about the struggles of men from a mental health perspective. I never thought about starting a YouTube channel because I felt like I didn't have time to do it. But, the Manhood Chronicles is about men telling their stories and telling their pain. And in the clinical world, Mr. Palmer, we call it a group catharsis. A catharsis is an emoting or where men come together and they emote and they talk about their struggles and their pain. But many men, Mr. Palmer, feel like anytime they emote, they're not men. They're told to man up. You're not a man. You got these hyenas that try to tell them what masculinity is, and they're trying to shame them back into silence. And so I knew back in 2009 when I took on this journey that I was going to be a therapist. I knew it actually when I was 10 years old that was my calling to empower people. And when I taught school, I used to empower black boys, and Latin boys and white boys too, because, I believe in male empowerment. I believe that when you empower your men, then you will turn around and empower your women on the back end. When you empower your women, then you empower the black community. But Mr. Palmer, so many didn't vote for black boys, black men, black families, and black communities. I want to ask you the question, is the black community done? And, I listen to a lot of your content, and I've said the same thing. I don't see us, getting back to normalcy, maybe not in our lifetime. I don't see it. But is the black community done? And in this loaded question, what is some of the psychological abuse that you went through with some of these modern women? So one, is the black community done? And what was some of the psychological abuse you went through with modern women?
I'm glad you asked that. The community is done.
It's done, right.
As long as you got these baby mama tears run the community, being the leaders of the community, being the pillars of our community, it's gonna be done. Well, what you mean by that? You just hate your own kind. No, I don't. Because again, I have to tell you again, a lot of our black boys and a lot of our black girls are, because of lack of fathers, are going through it. Low education, low income, graduation rates low, alcoholics, having kids out of wedlock, having kids under as a teenage and all that stuff. You can look up the stats. And it's not even just in the black community, but we can talk about the black community. And all that is bad. So when y'all sit back and say, these black dudes today are weak, they emotional, they stupid, they abusing all this stuff, you know what I tell y'all? These baby mama tells you telling the truth. And I agree. But here's my response. Why? And not only why, who's been raising our boys for the last 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70 years? These baby mama tells in the black community that choose single motherism. That's who. So I agree with you. But let's talk about why. That's why. So as long as you got these baby mama tears being the pillars of our community, it ain't never gonna improve. It ain't never gonna improve. Now, as far as abuse, man, I don't go to no abuse. I don't entertain none of these baby mama terrorists. Now, if you talk about me personally, when I was going through the process with a baby mama terrorist, yeah, that now you're talking, hurt, heartache, pain. You trying to fight to be a father and all that stuff. You trying to hope for your kids don't be manipulated. You see things on how it really is, but you still falling for it because you're being bought. That's a whole nother thing. But what I had to do was see things for what it is and keep my veins cold. And what I had to do was make an executive decision. Either I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and die young, or I'm going to wash my hands and move on and live a better life.
Right.
And start over. So I chose B, because I'm not going to die young for nothing so anybody don't give a damn about me.
That's true. I agree. I totally agree, brother. I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
And you know what?
Go ahead, brother.
For you, it's a brother, Lavelle Robinson. He said child support was created because of Vietnam. I want you to click up here, and I'm gonna respond to that.
You say you want him to do what?
I want you to click on his comment.
Okay, cool. Let me find it.
He said child support was created because of Vietnam.
Okay, let me find it.
He's right above Tim Howard V when he say hit the like button.
All right, hold tight. Let me shout out Rorschach for this $5, $2 super sticker. Thank you, brother. He said, white women supported the way they should. AC. Okay. Hold tight. Jordan Peterson. That's what he's talking about. All right, Lavelle. Let me see if I can find it. Is that it?
Yeah. No. Well, I'll just read it because you ain't got to look. Lavelle
I got it. Child support was created by Vietnam. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
This brother said child support was created by because of Vietnam. Men left home for war and didn't return home after the war. Also, men would leave their wives for younger women, leaving fathers' homes. Actually, brother, child support started in 1935. It was way before Vietnam. It started, I think, in World War. I'm not sure if it's World War I or World War II, when white men were going overseas and not coming back. And back then, women weren't allowed to work. They was just staying home, take care of the child and stuff like that. Child support was for the married white woman. It wasn't for black people because black people, again, back then and all the way to maybe before the 1970s, it was 85 to 90% nuclear family unit. So it was before Vietnam. That happened. Child support started in 1935, along with alimony, which was justified. It was justified then, because I'm gonna tell you why. Did y'all know back then, if you was a single mom having kids out of wedlock, you didn't get no child support?
Wow, I didn't know that.
See, it was justified then because women back then weren't allowed to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why feminism came, back then. That was justified. I want to be equal. I want to be able to vote. I want to be able to do X, Y, Z just like man can do. I have no problem with that.
Right.
But what messed up with us was that Welfare Act. And also in 1974 was when the Title 4D came into play. When Title 4D came into play, Title 4D is what messed up child support for what it is. Because now they can put you on child support. All you got to do is come in there and just say your name. You on child support. They don't care if you take care of that child. They don't care if you are in the picture. They don't care if you did it the right way. They don't care if you did it the wrong way. The white man is the original deadbeat. So when y'all hear that BS talking about, black men offense a deadbeat, they a lie.
Right.
They lying.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of stuff that we was taught and told, we've been lied to. We've been hanged. That's why I play Malcolm X. You've been lied to.
Right. Been lied to. Right. You've been hoodwinked. Exactly. You know, when you were going through your struggles, Mr. Palmer, I'm sure it impacted your mental health. There's healthy coping like meditating, prayer, exercise, and lifting weights. I see you slimmed down like your icon, your logo is a more fit, Mr. Palmer. You were slightly overweight. I don't know if you were overweight when you were going through your stress. I don't know if the stress caused you to be overweight, but you're a lot slimmer now. You're a lot slimmer. You lost a lot of weight. You look good, by the way. You lift weights. Well, what were some of the things you went through as it relates to negative coping because you were psychologically abused?
I was overweight. I was overweight beforehand. I can't lie. But that was one of the things I decided to change the laws of my mind. Another thing, I like I tell men and I tell women, keep your veins cold. I had to do the Reverend X move. For those who don't know what Reverend X is when I don't give a F. The worst thing man has ever did was give a damn about what somebody say or give a damn about the BS they try to cause, which is lies, and try to stain your name. You trying to go out there and prove a point. You trying to prove to your kids they ain't like that, even though they see it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I decided to change the laws of my mind because I realized that this system's not going to change. Right.
And we're going to talk about that because in the clinical world, we call it cognitive restructuring. There's another type of therapy called logotherapy. And logotherapy was based on a Jewish guy, Mr. Palmer, by the name of Viktor Frankl. And so Viktor Frankl realized that with logotherapy, he could be in the worst circumstance, in the worst condition that he could be in, but he didn't let his circumstance or condition conduct how he feels. A lot of men, Mr. Palmer, are in very precarious predicaments. Dr. William Glasser, he was a psychoanalytic therapist. He talked about, choice theory. He said that love, he said that fun, power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival are the 5 core elements to helping a man become whole, or any man become whole, men and women becoming whole. And he was saying that when people don't get their needs met, they tend to act out. How did you act out? Did you get tempted to commit homicide? If you feel comfortable saying that, did you drink? How was your mental health impacted with this baby mama terrorist? And what is a baby mama terrorist? By the way, to the audience that don't know.
To sum up baby mama terrorist, the baby mama terrorist is one who terrorized fathers for being their children's lives. Mm-hmm. So if that ain't you, then you shouldn't be offended. But if you still get offended, I don't care either way, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. As far as me drinking all that, I didn't do that. But what happened was stressing and begging, pleading, and all that stuff. High blood pressure. Almost was doing damage to my kidneys and stuff.
Oh, and wow!
I ended up getting a wake up call. That wake up call, like, why the hell I'm gonna die young for people that don't give a damn about me? Right. Like I'm like hell no. I said I ain't finna die young for y'all to go to my friend old fake cry and then go eat a bucket of chicken at a repast, and after that you back with the next one. I'm not doing that. It's too many dudes alienated from their children.
Right. It's true, man. It's true. It's very true, brother.
So that's my first day. I started working out and everything, and I got to do it some more. I kind of locked off, but I got to get back to it, because when you change the laws of your mind, that's a lifetime of change.
It's a lifetime of change. Right.
And I had to get back to the old me, because the old me was, I didn't give a F. Mm-hmm. But see, when you got kids and stuff, that changed, because no man who plan on having kids want to be away from their children. And I told you, these baby mama terrorists know that's their power mechanism, is the man's child and the man's income. And if you can take those things, hey, that's the man's kryptonite. Mm-hmm. And of course, aid the system with that, because they get a piece of action. So I had to, get back to like I used to be, and I had to keep my veins cold. And I tell men, keep your veins cold, because you're gonna be falsely accused. Your mama may go against you. You may find out your mom was a baby mama terrorist, because as soon as you tell her I'm gonna fight for equal pay, she's gonna be like, why would you do that? That's not right. She the one carried the baby. Your grandma go against you. Your friends that you thought was your friends, will go against you, even though they've been knowing you since you was a kid. But oh no, they're gonna side with her.
Right. Groupthink. It's groupthink, man. It's 100% groupthink.
Yeah, so it's a lot of you have to definitely get yourself in order, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and also emotionally, so you can make that move. So then now, when that baby mama terrorists try to talk that shit, which you should be talked to anyway, text message and screenshots. You don't need it. I wouldn't talk to her on the phone. You don't negotiate no terrorists. Mm-hmm. And what you got to do is start seeing it for what it is. She's not going to change.
Right.
She's going to use them children as much as she can to set you up for failure. And the worst thing you could do is allow some manipulated ass child to mess up your household, or allow some outside to mess up your household, which is the baby mama terrorist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to definitely keep your veins cold and move different. Because if you don't, you're going to be down that rabbit hole, and you ain't going to be able to get out of that, because it gets to a point where you want to do the Ray Caruth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that was me. Mm-hmm. And I realized it ain't worth it, because you going to jail ain't worth it. You still going to lose. You commit suicide, you still going to lose. So the only thing you can do is change the laws of your mind and go another route.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. I love that, man. I love that. Many men, people don't understand that many men are under a lot of mental distress when they lose their children, when they have paternity fraud, when they're put on the burden of always trying to defend themselves. It's not good for your health. And, I love that term, changing the law of your mind. And we're going to talk about it in a minute, but it's a very powerful term. I love it, man, because we talk about it all the time in the clinical world. We call it cognitive restructuring. We call it schema modification. And that basically means change that thought process for the positive. And you're 100% correct. If you lose your life, you're right. There'll be, eating a bucket of chicken, eating collard greens, macaroni and cheese, and hog chitlins, passing gas for the next 2 weeks. They won't think nothing about you, man. And so you have to change the law in your mind. That's all about male empowerment. But, Mr. Palmer, anytime masculine men congregate together, And Mr. Palmer, as men, we don't agree on all things or ideology. I would say you and I agree on a whole lot more than less. I respect you highly. But we're not going to agree on all things and ideologies, but we come together as allies of a common cause only to go away when the crisis is over. There's a crisis in heteronormative masculinity. Sometimes many of these men, they let their egos get in the way of more or less subverting a powerful movement. Your name has been the center of a lot of attention. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But before we talk about it, changing the law of your mind, what does that mean to you? And maybe you talked about it a little bit, but what does that mean to you? And how have you changed the law of many men's mind that you more or less talked about on Mr. Palmer Child Support?
I'm glad you said it, because here's the thing, y'all. Men and women, we all have the power to change the laws in your mind. And I talked about it when it came to child support, but we have the power to do that just in life, period. It ain't necessarily just about being on child support or being alienated. It ain't just about that. When it comes to child support, though, when it comes to this system, it's not going to change. You think they're going to make things fair and right just to benefit you men? You think they're going to try to lose a piece of that $51 billion a year they get every year just to please you, give you equal parenting time, let you get more parenting time with your son and daughter? No. So one thing I always said, you do not have the power or the jurisdiction to change another person, but you do have the power to do for yourselves. So, like I tell people, child support is what it is. It's not going to change. They're only about the money and so on.
Right.
So if you can't change them laws, you change your laws in your mind. You change yourself. The stuff that you did before that led you up to this situation, you definitely need to take accountability. And I don't mean nothing like, oh, you cheated. It could be the fact that you didn't vet her long enough. It could be you didn't see it. You didn't see the signs, but now you realize after the fact. Sometimes you don't know nothing. You don't see nothing. That ain't talking about. I'm talking about the one that now you realize, man, when she said this, that what she mean. I didn't know. So the system is not going to change. They don't have to. But we, as individuals, have the power to change the laws in our mind. In other words, if you say, hey, man, because I was doing X, Y, Z, I ain't doing it no more.
Right. And
don't stick on it. That's changing the laws of your mind. Okay, I want to go ahead and live a free agent lifestyle. You have to change the laws of your mind. You want to be MGTOW and just go your own way. You got to you have to change the laws of your mind.
Change the law of your mind. Right.
Be a high value man. You want to be high value, then you still have to change the laws of your mind. Because if you don't have that mindset that you're really serious about making change, then it ain't going to work.
Right. That is very true. I want to ask you this question because you said something I wanted to ask you before I lost my train of thought. You went through, Mr. Palmer, something called an existentialist crisis. That existentialist crisis basically is a wake-up call. Existentialist basically means, why am I living? What is my purpose? Did Mr. Palmer come out as a byproduct of the red pill? I did a show last night talking about the red pill. The red pill just basically means to see things for what it is. Did Mr. Palmer come into this space through red pill content, and did that help you change the law in your mind?
You talking about as far as my situation?
Right. So like listen to Coach Greg Adams and other content creators, that was an existentialist crisis. You were going through something serious, and while you were going through something serious, you said, wow, now I see that's when you begin to evolve. So how did the red pill and the manosphere help you become, whoa.
No, I would say, you know what, truthfully, a lot of the stuff that I say, not everything, but a lot of stuff that I say I've been saying since I was on Facebook, right?
Okay.
But let me tell you, change the laws of your mind. Actually, I have to thank Coach Greg Adams. I did a live on his show in 2021 on New Year's Day. And what happened was, I realized this. A lot of brothers because when I came on YouTube, I didn't know nothing about red pill and MGTOW, free agent lifestyle. I did not know nothing about that. When I went over to his page, and I've been interviewed before I was interviewed by O'Shea, Lou Jackson. I was interviewed by Minister Jap, Bill, Ty City, and Bernard Riley and other people. When I went on his channel, because he got 99.9% men on his channel.
Right.
It was people who was MGTOW, it was people who was red pill, it was people who lived a frigid lifestyle. When we talked about that child support, I did not realize how so many men who live in a frigid lifestyle, and including Coach Greg Adams, they went through the system when it came to, you know, divorce and child support, alienation, and so on, and how this system did them. So when I did an interview with him, and I've talked to a lot of men, white, black, blue, or green, who are red pill, and I realized that a lot of these brothers are living this type of lifestyle because they've been through it when it came to alienation and child support and divorce and alimony and all that stuff. That's when I had came up with change the laws in your mind. Because if you want to do all these different avenues to better yourself as a man, that's what you got to do. But you have to change the laws in your mind to do it. Because if you say, I'm going to stop drinking, let me make it even better. For you women out here that say, yeah, this dude, I know he a bad guy, but I can't let him go. You could say you're going to dump him, but you call him back the next week, or he call you and tickle your chin, you back at it. So, but when your mindset is saying, I'm done, you are done. Once your mind is in that mode, everybody telling you, don't do that, don't do that. Hey, you lead a horse to the water, but take the horse to drink. So, change the law of your mind is you really about that change. That means your mind is set. It's like you go to the gym, you're going to work out, lose weight. You ain't going to eat this and eat that. Your mind is set. But when your mind ain't set, then it ain't going to work.
Right.
Talking because you're going to keep backpedaling every time. So, yeah, it was because of Coach Greg. When I saw them red pill, MGTOW, and all these other type of brothers that said they was going through, and I realized a lot of these brothers converted to what they are today because of the situation with a baby mama terrorist, married, not married, or whatever. And I understand. So that's when I came up with change the laws of your mind.
I love it. It's a powerful concept. Shout out to Clement, great for that $5 super sticker. Clement said not only will they come to your chicken, they'll have enough nerve to bring their new man, and that is so true, brother. I agree with you 1,000%. Shout out to my man James Turner. He said that changing the law of your mind, that is a very powerful statement. Loving this talk. Yeah, I love it.
Right. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Yeah, that's real, man. So that's what I'm saying. Changing the laws in your mind could be for man or woman, but I made it definitely for men, but it's for anybody in life. You want to better yourself and make change, you definitely have to change the laws of your mind before you do anything.
Right. I totally agree. We definitely got to change the laws of our minds. Sweet Lulu Bing said the problem with black men is that they have not come under one umbrella. Create a black organization that seeks to reform all the laws that affect black men. Yes, change, better yourself, but fight and demand respect together. Right. I agree with that, Sweet Lulu Bing, but I also say, Mr. Palmer, the women that want to be married, should they not also go and march on Capitol Hill and start demanding that they change the laws? What's your take on that, brother?
Yeah, they should, but majority of, I told you, you got women and you got baby mama terrorists. Most of them is not going to do that because why would they want to go against the code? And if they can use that power whenever they see fit, and to get rid of it, so that's not going to happen. But I agree. I agree.
Right. It's not going to happen, man, and it's sad. Shout out to my thoughts of freedom. He said, just pop in to say peace and blessings. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
We're going to move along, man, because this has been a very good stream, man. I love your insight, Mr. Palmer. And I'm thinking about going back to the last show that we did with me and you. I can't think of his name, BJS, and also and also Gregory Scott. But before we do it, man, hopefully they won't get me this time, but I was smart this time. You've been under a lot of attack, Mr. Palmer. You was under attack by Cynthia G. You've been under a lot of attack by LE Magazine. Why is it that Mr. Palmer is in a lot of these people's mouths? Every time I look, they got Mr. Palmer in their mouth.
Why?
What's going on with that, brother?
You can't handle the truth.
That's why.
They can't handle the truth.
That's all to it, because none of them have called me a lie. They just use the shame tactics. And y'all know how I feel about that. I don't care about that.
Right.
I laugh at that. It's cute.
Yeah. They've been attacking you for a minute. I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm going to run this commercial, guys. So hold tight. I got something to show you guys. Y'all going to love it. It's a compilation that I put together with Mr. Palmer. He's been breaking down a lot of science, man. So I'm going to run this commercial real quick. And just hold tight, guys. I got something I want to show you guys. And I thank you and I appreciate the love and support for this channel. I appreciate Mr. Palmer coming on, sharing the knowledge about changing the law in your mind, because it all ties into mental health. You know, in the clinical world, one of the universal trainings is called cognitive behavioral therapy. If you can change your thoughts, you can change your feelings. If you can change your feelings, you can change your behaviors. And that's why I love the terminology. I said, I got to do a show with Mr. Palmer talking about changing the law of your mind. But in the meantime, check this commercial out, guys. I'll be right back.
Are you a victim of brokenness and despair? A broken man is a hopeless man, and a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways to the point it's led over into your social life, and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And male mental health is one of those elements that's paramount to the functioning of a man. Be well.
Mr. Palmer, we're back, brother. We are back. I said earlier, you know, a lot of folks got you in their mouth, Mr. Palmer. You know, there are many contemporaries, you know, like Ellie Magazine and also Cynthia G. They got you in their mouth. And many times, Mr. Palmer, I did a show called Slander of Man, Infiltrated Slander of Man. And, you know, Cynthia G have a lot of thinking errors. And I'm going to pull this compilation up. We're going to break it down together. And hopefully they won't hit me this time. Lord, I hope they don't hit me, but we're going to do it anyway. All right? So we're going to break down this compilation with this horrible woman, Cynthia G. Hold on for a minute. You see, I got Judge Palmer in the house. They got on the suit, man. You know, they call it the couch game. He got on the suit. Cynthia G versus Judge Palmer. but hold tight, because we're gonna chop this up, guys. We're going to chop this one up. We're going to chop this one up, Mr. Palmer. Hold on. All right. So listen to this.
They're part of it too. In some corners of the Black manosphere, men grumble about the very popular YouTuber Kevin Samuels and his ilk. Now, y'all tell me where Kevin Samuels is headed. Y'all tell me where Kevin Samuels is headed. See, because you can think this is cute with this Elle magazine and, protect Kevin Samuels. I'll take a bullet for Kevin Samuels. Yeah, it looked like you're going to have to. It looked like you might have to. Because, I mean, your name ain't going to keep being mentioned. You about to become the leader of a terrorist group is what it looks like, Kevin Samuels.
Why anytime men begin to speak out, Mr. Palmer, you know, anything pertaining to masculinity is always associated as a terrorist group. It's associated with hating women. It's associated with hating anything. I know what it is. Like I said, it's cultural Marxism. You know, this woman's very delusional because the same thing that she's talking about was started by white men. The same arbiters of what she's talking about is mostly white men. Black men that just happen to be involved in these spaces, but they never created. We didn't create, MGTOW. It was created by white men. The red pill was created by white men. Black men that's more or less joined in with SYSBM and IPMOR. Why is that, Mr. Palmer, when you hear this woman with her very terrible voice downplaying black men? What's your take on this?
It's a lucrative business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lucrative business. She get paid. Listen, for those who don't know about Cynthia G started out doing the pro-black movement. She used to be on Philip Scott's show when it was the
Advice.
the Advice show before he changed it to African diaspora. She also used to be with Boyce Watkins with the pro-black and stuff like that, but it was not lucrative. So she said, "What can I do to make more money?" So hey, let me go ahead and talk about black men, because everybody badmouth black men. We are looked at as the most hateful people on the planet, which that's not true. Actually, black women are the most hated on the planet. Let's keep it real. You know, so when it comes to Cynthia G, I don't take her seriously. I don't, like some people talk about her. Anytime she posts, they go back respond. I have no problem with her, and the reason why I don't take her seriously because she called black men dusty, broke, low life, but then you got pregnant by a YouTuber who was dusty, broke, selling bootleg what was that bootleg Tariq Nasheed DVDs, and he had multiple children from multiple women. So I don't take that seriously.
Right. Yeah, she's a hypocrite, and
I don't take it seriously, bro.
Right, her overgeneralization is appalling. But we're gonna keep listening to this clip. Hold tight.
All right.
Is about to become. I'm gonna make a prediction, and when they decide to just come out and say the Black Manosphere is a terrorist group, who do you think they're going to name as the leader? Kevin Samuels. He about to be the leader of this terrorist group called the Black Manosphere. Because Kevin Samuels allowed black women, he berates on his show to speak at all. In his lane, influencer Mr. Palmer has coined the term baby mama terrorist.
Oh, okay. Somehow, Mr. Palmer, she put you as part of a global terrorism task force. You were on Ellie magazine. She called you out. You know, this is weird, but when you heard that, what did you think about it, Mr. Palmer? Where this woman put you on the bench and tried to more or less slander your name and castigate you as a terrorist and also an incel and also this foolishness. What did that do to you mentally as a man?
Nothing. I smile and laugh because I told everybody when I came out with this on YouTube that the majority is not going to side with you. They will go against you. They will say anything to try to stain your name and make you look bad. How dare you speak out the truth? But at the same time, that Elle magazine kicked it off. It's that magazine that come out to January. She came talking about this 2 weeks ago. She was late in the game because the way she talked about it, you think it just came out the day before. Right. It came out in January, and the woman who did it was a black woman who is what she say she is. She says she's a black queer feminist woman, black woman. So when I saw that black film queer stuff, I didn't entertain that. So I knew her goal was to put everybody in the same boat as male supremacists and hate groups. I didn't entertain that, but it's not true. Right. And she just take it and run with it. It's a good story to talk about, get some views and likes. She got over 100,000.
Over 100,000, right. And it's weird, man. It looked like she bleached her skin, man. I don't remember this chick being this light.
It looked like she bleached her skin.
But she definitely got some thinking errors and some mental health pathologies. But we're gonna keep listening. Hold tight.
Or BMT. And he and his followers sports fuck child support hats, male supremacy. Dr. Sean Thunder Wallace, a tenured professor at the Ohio State University, is an influencer whose work teeters on the edge of the manosphere, beckoning in black men who might want to explore further. The content creator, Mad Bus Driver. You think the black man, you don't think that report referred to black men? You don't think that was about black men? Mad Bus Driver, who films his YouTube videos wearing a helmet, would only consent to being interviewed over email. He the founder of the Save Yourself Black Men or CISBAM community, but insists the group is not a part of the Black manosphere. It doesn't matter, you get lumped in there with them. Guilty by association. Claiming that space have different goals and objections than SYSBM. No, they don't. They're the same. The language is the same. The ideology is the same. They're the same. In his video,
Mr. Palmer, the Mad Bus Driver, I think you know that brother. I definitely want to do a show with him. Do you know Mad Bus Driver?
I don't know him personally. I heard of him, but I want to ask his brother about Brother Black Ram. Shout out to you, brother. He said these child support laws is actually men who made these laws. Let's make that correct, bro. It was white men who created these laws.
Right.
Because I get a lot of baby mama terrorists who tell me, well, it ain't my fault because, men made the laws. Yeah, white men. Black men ain't make these laws.
Right.
So even if you want to use the aspect of men making these laws, let's say white men created these laws, not men. It was white men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when the white man complained about child support, how bad it is, you could tell them that because that was they people who created, not us. So yeah, because a lot of baby mama terrorists use that tomorrow when men created. Nah.
Right.
That's them simple force of white knights that created that.
Right. When you hear the word SYSBM, and the Mad Bus Driver, I think he started that movement as a response to what's going on in America. I don't see him as a divester. I think he's just a guy that's responding to how men of color, men in general, are being treated. And so he's basically saying, save yourself, black man, as a way to do what's best for you. What's your take on the ideologies associated with SYSBM?
That's the same thing. You have to change the law in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear save yourself, black men, that's just saying see it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to save everybody don't want to be saved. You trying to shame a woman that don't want to have a traditional family unit or don't want a man to lead and all that stuff. She's programmed to believe that I don't need you, which I understand.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you all the time, you don't need no man. You don't. We got you. We got Government Daddy looking out for you. Government Daddy's gonna fund you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna look out for you. Baby mama terrorists is good. They will never hit rock bottom. Not in our lifetime. So save yourselves, black men, is just changing your laws in your mind and seeing for what it is and make a move and quit worrying about trying to save, protect, and shield people that don't deserve it.
Right.
So I have no problem with it.
Right. I don't either. I think it's a very powerful term because it is part of changing the law of your mind. It's part of seeing the world for what it is and not worrying about it. So let me finish playing this clip. Hold tight.
Videos, he spends hours describing the ills of black women. But what else why else would the Mad Bus Driver be in here? Why do y'all think that would be important? Because as he's making this content about black women, what is he telling black men to do? I'll tell you what, this is why he's in there. He spends hours describing the ills of black women, the deterioration of the black race, the importance of travel for black men, and the virtues of dating and marrying anybody but black women. Because he's encouraging these violent terrorists to go seek non-black women.
And the hypocrisy of this foolish woman is this, Mr. Palmer. She actually exonerates white men. She's a divester. But she has an issue with black men traveling. She has an issue with black men trying to get the best black woman that's on the market or whatever ethnic group of women. I don't care. A man should be able to marry who he want to marry. Right. Like they say, love is love. If the alphabet community can marry who they want to marry, then a black man should have to marry who he want to marry. If love is love, then they can do the same thing. But it's sort of weird, man. She's weird because, she could talk about white men and, black men are horrible. She overgeneralizes and call all black men bad. And we said several times, Mr. Palmer, that in general, American women have a lot of issues, but we're not saying that 100% all American women are bad, black or white. We're saying that more than less tend to fit the profile. But do you see the thinking errors of overgeneralization with this woman, Mr. Palmer, where she has an issue with what the mad bus driver is doing, but she don't have any issue with promoting black women marrying white men. What's your take on that?
That's why I don't take her seriously. You can't if we telling black men to go overseas and get your passport and all that stuff, you should be happy.
Right.
Be happy. You should not care. You should be glad. So when I hear people like this that say move out the neighborhood, stay away from black men and stuff, I have no problem with it. That means I don't have to move. And unfortunately, it seems like the problem is men are wising up. Men are seeing this for what it is. Men saying I'm not getting married or having kids. Men are living a whole nother life, and they don't like the fact that they can't destroy them no more. Right.
Right. They don't like the fact that they have power, man. They don't like the fact that what Glasser said, having fun. Black men now living their lives based on their own choices.
Right.
Fun, power, freedom, belonging, and they're surviving. And she doesn't like it because she want to control us. Right.
A lot of them don't like it. One of the young women, ladies on here asked, has anybody tried to call out and everything? Yeah, they call out all the time, every day, all day. You got some brothers that call out all the time and expose it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but again, they're not going to shut her page down faster than they'll do any man page. They'll shut us down with quickness. See, they don't mind somebody like her to do what she do, but a man better not call out nothing that these baby mama terrorists do.
Right. Like Maurice Clark said, she hate, violent terrorist black men, but you had a baby by one. Right. You can't take.
That's why I don't take her seriously, man. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, she got some serious mental issues, and I'm not saying that to be funny. She's faking the funk, or she has she has some deficits going on, unresolved mental illness. Go ahead, brother.
They say her daddy wasn't in the picture either. So
right.
So I mean, hey man, it is what it is. That's why I say, man, trying to shame them for them to change and convert and try to make them be a certain way. Forget about it. That's not gonna happen. They don't have to.
Supreme
and move around.
Supreme 10 is right. Say it again.
I said eliminate them and keep them squares out your circle.
I totally agree. Keep listening.
They're about to become a terrorist group. They are. They're about to become a terrorist group. This is why the mad bus driver is in here. This is why SYSBM is in here, because you're a threat to other women.
I could care less.
Oh, and here it goes. In one video titled, Protect Your Seed, Black Men, Invested into White or Asian or Latina. These men are stupid. Like, there is no other male group that's dumber.
Go ahead, brother.
The reason why I want you to pause is because she said that, angry bus driver said give it a white woman, Latino person, or Chinese and Asian, right?
Right.
And she got a big problem with that. But didn't you just say stay away from black men?
Right. Exactly.
Don't marry one of these dust busters. Then you say if it's if you pregnant with a boy, go on and get an abortion. So if this dude's saying, okay, y'all don't want us, we dusties, we broke, we low lives, I'm gonna go ahead and get me with a white woman or Asian or Hispanic, whatever. Why do you have a problem with that? So is it really about these men are being dusties and low lives and dirty, or is it really just you hate black men just because? Because you should be like, good, I ain't got to deal with you. That's me.
Right. We're in the clinical world, we call it classic projection. She's projecting her anger and pain based on what she's went through as a child, but also it's displaced aggression. They're all ego defense mechanisms. And that's how she protects herself. Like you said, she was abandoned by her black father, and she tends to overgeneralize all men as a target. So based on the sins of her father, she's castigating all men with the pain that she went through. And so because she didn't have a father, Mr. Palmer, she dated dusty black men that got with her and probably used her for sex. And now she's bitter and hurt and angry, and she more or less associates all black men with the struggles that she went through. And it's common. That's part of a mental pathology. But go ahead.
And that's the thing. He might didn't run away. He might have got ran out.
Right. We don't know.
And who knows what type of mother she had that to raise her to feel like that. Could it be the mom? They 8 or 6. These grandma terrors just as bad. It's a generational curse. So I don't get it though. he telling men to go outside the race, go somewhere else, go to another country, and you still got a problem. It's like, regardless, we still a problem. That's what I say.
Right.
That's why I don't take these dudes serious. I call them dudes because they ain't nothing but devil's son-in-laws. They got more masculinity than the average man. So I don't take these dudes seriously.
Right. I totally agree, man. I don't take them serious either, man. They talk from two sides of the mouth, sadly. Talk from two sides of the mouth. They don't more or less live up to the mantle of truth. They don't live up to the mantle of understanding how men think. And, Guapo, that's my homie. He's actually in Brazil now, and some be getting mad when he post shows or do shows with beautiful Brazilian women or just women in general. And, like I said, they don't want to change. They don't want to compete, Mr. Palmer. Because they know they don't measure up, many of them. They're projecting.
Women been going overseas way before we had. White men been going over way before we had. We just now starting to go overseas. So what's the problem? When y'all want to be divestors and all that, I have no problem with that.
Me neither. It don't bother me either.
That's one less nigga I got to worry about. So I ain't got to make a move. I'm glad. I have no problem with it. So why when somebody like one of these brothers go over to Jamaica or go to the West Indies or go to Brazil, why is that a sin? You didn't want him years ago. You didn't want him back in the day. You didn't want him when he was in high school. You didn't want him in college. You wanted to keep doing your whole stroll and wait till you almost hit the wall. That's your fault. That's your fault.
Sadly.
That's your fault. Go to Walmart. You find one. Go to Walmart. Walmart always hiring.
Shout out to my man Clement Gray for that $5 sticker. He says that she says that how she has realized her own white zaddy does not want to put a seed in her, and if she does get the same results from like his baby daddy, right? Her baby daddy, right? Yeah, it's sad, man. She got a lot of issues, man, but it's a lot of it's when you got 100,000 women following this woman, it lets you see, Mr. Palmer, that mental health and mental illness is very prevalent in our community. A lot of undiagnosed mental illness. Cynthia G is one of them. When you hear this kind of vitriol, how can a platform get 100,000 people with women berating and downgrading our men? If that's not misandric, I don't know what is. But once again, we don't talk about that. Go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
Right. That's why I tell y'all, men, the majority is not gonna side with you, even if you're speaking the truth. You for what's right, everything else. They don't. That's just reality. White one, especially these Al Karens, they the worst. They the one who setting white men up for failure now. And black women piggyback. That's why they call themselves feminists. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, again, it's more people that's against you than that support you, brothers. And y'all need to start saying it for what it is. Stop assuming that everybody loves you because they don't. Stop assuming that your queen got your back because she don't. They love white supremacy, bro. They the right hands of white supremacy. Anytime they'll call the police on you on a false allegation so they can go to court and get full custody of your child, they hate you. They your opposition, bro. Stop saying it for what it is. Stop making excuses for these I'm sorry. I almost said it. Stop making excuses for these types.
You funny, man. Hold on, man. Let's play this clip.
Than these dudes. There is none. Hold on, you guys. I need a cough.
She calling us Dusty. Calling us Dusty.
I need a cough.
Just not smart at all. Not smart at all. See, if you would have just kept it to black women, you probably wouldn't have been a problem. But there's too many of those incels who are married to women of no color who sent them to meet their maker.
Let me explain something.
Y'all promoting one.
Go ahead.
Listen, y'all. Let me tell you. I don't know if you saw the whole thing on her channel, Kosher. But here's the thing, y'all. For those who didn't know,
right?
What she did, she read an article that came out that day or the day before she did this live. It was talking about the incel movement, and it was talking about the incel movement, and it was talking about another movement, but it was all based off white men who was Xing out white women,
right?
Because they could not get the woman they wanted. It don't have nothing to do with black men at all. The incel movement was started by a woman. A lot of people thought that the incel movement came from a white man. I mean, yeah, white man. It came from a white Canadian college student out in Canada. And she had made the platform and she fell off of it to come back. And it was a dude that X'd out 6 people or 8 people. And they use his name as a model when it comes to incel movement. That's why a lot of y'all think that the incel movement started from white men. It didn't start from actually term incel movement or incel came from a Canadian college student, a female. And the incel was for men or women who was virgins that couldn't find the right one to break their virginity. That's where I started.
Right.
And what she did, she took the Elle magazine that came out in January and put it together and trying to say they talking about the black manosphere. They talking about black men. They actually was talking about white dudes. Every name in there they mentioned was white dudes. I even did a show on that while she was live, watching part of her live, and let people know that she's lying to you. So it didn't have nothing to do with the Elle magazine did not have nothing to do with this New York Post about the FBI watching men groups and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fall for that rhetoric, man.
Right. No, I totally agree. Finish playing. Hold tight.
Access to these non-black women too much. And you think Asian men and Spanish-speaking men of no color is about to let you run amok in their community? Nah, bruh. Nope, you barking up the wrong tree. See, because you might sit up there and run your mouth, but real men, they sit up and do this. We're going to get you this way. We're going to turn you into a terrorist group based on your own words that you cannot scrub from the internet. Mad bus driver's language veers close to eugenics as he addresses the black man listening, saying there's going to be 2 types of black people in the future, and one's going to be blackish and one's going to be traditionally black. You think they about to let you run amok in their communities and create a bunch of single mothers that you just go complain about later? Nope. The permanent underclass, you know what?
And you notice how she equate all black men as, the Raekwons and the man-mans. I want you to tell the audience, Mr. Palmer, what percentage of black men do you feel like are causing chaos in our community? Because once again, this woman clearly has a thinking error. I think there's over 50% of black men don't have children. But for some reason, she's equivocating all black men as being dangerous, predatory, and not taking care of their babies. But what percentage would you say?
Entertain her. When it comes to the black community, it's 15 to 20% of men who actually don't take care of their children. 20%, 15 to 20% of black men who actually don't do nothing for their children. When it comes to black men who are unwedded and having children, it's 24%. But out of the 24%, it don't say if they're involved or not.
Right.
And a lot of unwedded men are involved. When it comes down to black men marrying outside a race, is 9%. So all this stigma that y'all hear, you can look it up. All that stigma when they say that men are having kids all over the place and making single mothers, which, far as I'm concerned, you got 30 remedies to prevent pregnancies. So when you say that a man is making you have children, that's a lie, because you choose single motherism.
Choose it, right. Choose it, right. They choose it by getting with dusty men that don't take care of their kids, and they equivocate all men with the dusty men that they chose, the Raekwons and the man-mans. But, you take every black man and castigate all black men under the umbrella of the men that you chose to be with, because many chose swag over substance. And, right. That's what you got to deal with. They look past a lot of guys that were squares, call them educated lames, goofy. They were average guys, white collar guys, blue collar guys, said they didn't make enough money. And so she equivocated all black men with this, which is foolishness. But let's keep listening. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Brother, they get with some dude in the hood that was having a bunch of kids in the first place. Then get mad because you thought you could change them.
Right.
You thought that he was going to change because you gave him that diamond coochie, and you realize he didn't give a damn about your diamond coochie.
Right. Right.
And now you're gonna say all black men are like that. That's like me saying, because of my situation, I'm gonna say all black women. Nah, I'll be alive if I said that.
Right.
You know, but if you tell them they daddy black, see, that don't mean nothing. But they sure tell your mama black.
Right. Yeah. They'll tell your mama black, right? But when it comes to your daddy being black, they won't even acknowledge their dad. And that shows you that we live in a very matriarchal culture. We live in a gynocracy, that's why I said simping should be in the DSM-5. It should definitely be in the DSM-5 as a mental illness, man, because these tyrannical women have created the men that they actually talk about. And that's why our black community is so much shambles, man. Go ahead.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's why I say the black community is not going to ever be better as long as you these same baby mama tears run the black community, because again, they've been having custody of our boys for the last 30, 40, 50, 60, possibly 70 years. I don't take these dudes seriously. I don't. Go ahead, brother.
You can't take them serious, man.
I'm not.
You can't take them serious, man. That's why I love that slogan you said, keep the ice water cold in your veins. I love it. It's a very powerful statement, man, because because when you keep it cold, man, you just don't trip about it. You don't care. You just see things for what it is. Hold tight. Let me finish playing. Hold tight.
What that's going to be. No disrespect. If you're a black man who needs to save himself, go on ahead, because you can't save it. It's ingrained. You got to let it, the black race, die out because they don't want to change. Now, any black man who has a problem with me telling black women to thin the herd, I got a question. Why you ain't mad at this? Where's the same energy for this? Except since black men don't give birth, he's just telling you, go create a bunch of confused biracial children that you're going to abandon, and then they're going to grow up on TikTok complaining, talking about how they wish they had a black mama instead of a black daddy. You think they ain't looking at those biracials all over TikTok complaining? You think they ain't looking at the women of no color complaining about getting the same black man? You think they forgot about that video of that dude throwing his Beckisha into a TV? You think they forgot about that? When asked if, and this dude is stupid, he would only agree to an interview over email. So you're only going to agree to something in writing. Just not smart at all. You should have just did the interview over a phone call. But he probably thought he was saving himself by leaving a paper trail. It's like the last thing you want to do is have an email paper trail that this is what you said. Like I said, the goof troop. I would have did my interview over the phone. But you sitting there doing it over the internet, you leave it a paper trail everywhere you go. Now your sentiments are in black and white. That's how they ended up here, dummy, because you wrote it.
Hey, brother, the interview.
When asked,
the interview was with only interview she did was with Obsidian, and it was over the phone.
Right.
They didn't do it on social media. Now he took the video of his interview and put it on YouTube, but they didn't have no interview. The interview that she was talking about was some random dude that she went on a date with. See, that's what I'm saying. The lies that they put out,
right?
Anything to make it sound good, like these fake politicians, these fake preachers. They tell you anything that you want to hear to tickle your chin to get paid.
Right.
Integrity.
Right. Yeah. She definitely has some issues, man. And you see it manifesting often.
If this use of eugenics language was intentional, or if he was at all concerned, and who do you think he's trying to commit eugenics on, by the way? When he sits here and encourages black men to go to non-black women, do you think it's because he wants to create black children, or do you think it's because he knows they're creating non-black children as black women sit up here and fall for this okey doke that Maria and Ling Ling and Becky can create black children like you can.
Well,
this is what I'm saying. This is a problem.
Well, I always thought, Mr. Palmer, if the dad's seed was black, then the child was automatically black. What's your take on that?
I thought it say in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? You are what your father is. So I thought if your daddy black, you black. So hey man, listen. The community have collective outrage.
Right,
if you are mixed and you ghetto, then you black. But if you mix and you got some sense and you sophisticated, you hold your stuff to a certain standard, you a self-hater and you a white folks and all that stuff.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, they pick and choose if you black or not, depending on how ghetto and ratchet you are.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's an excellent point. I never thought of it like that, man.
Real, but I'm a dummy off Cottage Grove. I don't know what I'm talking about. I get it.
Right. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Never thought of it like that, man. You know, never even thought of it like that.
Around that was mixed. That was like, yeah, whether they had a black mother or a black father.
Mm-hmm.
If they act ignorant, ghetto and ratchet, oh, you black, you cool, you hood. Even a white dude that act like a ghetto rat, they'll say he one of us. But let him act, let that black mixed person act sophisticated, got a little class, they roll a certain way. Oh, this woman is a self-hater. This mixed one is this one, he white. He one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And y'all say I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying.
Yeah. She definitely has selective outrage, man. A lot of selective outrage, man. She pick and choose what parts she want to more or less associate with black folks, man. And
I don't take these jokers serious, man. Or these simple forces, these divestors or whoever. You had a right to do what you do. All I tell y'all over and over is to prove me wrong.
Right. I'm finished playing, do some of it, man. Then we're gonna end this whole tight.
All right.
They know they ain't creating black children, so why, black women, would you demean yourself by saying that she can create black children just like you? So again, I'll ask, when he's talking about these eugenics, who do you think he's really trying to get rid of? Do you think he's trying to get rid of the black man or the black woman that he has disdain for? Yeah, I think he's probably trying to commit eugenics on black women as they run around and say, we can't stop giving birth to black men. Yeah, but they're already planning it against you, though. That's why he said black-ish. One is going to be black-ish, and one is going to be black. They've been trying to get rid of you in the only way that they can, which is to whitewash their own genetics. But here comes black men clinging to their black cane. Oh, if we don't give birth to black men, then what's gonna happen with black women? As they sit here and create a new black-ish community to get rid of you.
They said she's annoying, man. We're going to end it in a minute, guys. This is what y'all hear.
Anyway,
how crazy and delusional this woman
said.
said.
Use of eugenics language was intentional, or if he was at all concerned about the historic weaponization of eugenics language against black men and women, Mad Bus Driver responded that SYSBM is about freedom for black men, rooted in their ability to choose better for themselves.
Right, and that goes back, Mr. Palmer, to William Glass's choice theory. You know, that goes back to choices, men having the right to choose who they want to choose, man. You know, and I don't understand why she got a problem with men choosing what's best for them. I don't care what other women do. If sisters want to date white men, go ahead. If they want to date Julio and David and Brad, it doesn't bother me at all. Do what's best for you. But what's your take on that, dog?
That's what I'm trying to say. Now, black men are saying, protect your seeds. They telling black men saying, hey, leave them type baby mama tears out quiches alone. Go somewhere else. Do this. And now you got a problem with him going about his business and going elsewhere. That's why I say you can't make this ish up. selective outrage. Because like I told you, when black women, the baby mama tears, when they talking about I'm gonna get a white man and black men are dusty and all that shit, we finna go out to Canada, or we gonna go outside our neighborhood in our ram and we gonna move out the sector. I don't care. Good. I ain't gotta move. I can stay where I'm at. I ain't gotta leave. You leave. I ain't gonna get in my feelings. Oh, you he blame men. I could care less. But when we do it, now all of a sudden you get that victim card. Y'all know how that victim card go.
Right.
You do this.
Now it's victimhood. That's why I don't take these dudes seriously.
Right. You can't take them serious, man. You will go crazy trying to more or less get caught up in this foolishness that you're seeing now, man. And, and I do these shows, Mr. Palmer, because that's why men got to change the law of their mind. Every time black masculine men or white masculine men or men in general begin to speak out, start demanding what they want, you're going to always find either the separate forces or some old goofy dude that, was raised by a single mom. And I'm not saying all men raised by single moms are bad men. There are some men that were raised by single moms and they were fine. Yep. But, the single mother men tend to have a certain characteristic, and they're devoid of seeing true masculinity. They don't do things based on principle. They actually think like women. They think like women. They do petty stuff. They don't say what they mean. They don't mean what they say. And it's an issue, man. It's a serious issue. And Cynthia G is causing a lot of chaos in our communities, man. And I agree with Lulu Bean, man. Something needs to be done to, speak out on what she's doing, man. But she's in a lot of pain, like JDD's Cowboy said. This woman got a lot of issues. Man. And it was just weird that, she used that LA magazine to more or less downgrade you and call you out and slander your name. And they always say, you hate black women or, I just never understood it, man. It doesn't make any sense to me, bro.
Well, I understood it because their agenda is to separate. Their agenda is to make that bag and have no integrity at all costs. Mm-hmm. And also they put they miserable lives into the equation to destroy others. What's that old saying?
Misery loves company.
There we go. That's exactly what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. Misery loves company. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling men to change the laws of your mind and stay away from misery.
Mm-hmm. Right. I agree. And like I said, man, it's unfortunate, man. I'm gonna play a little bit of this, and I'm gonna drop the link for about 5 or 10 minutes, man. I'm gonna let you go. I know you're busy. I'm about to check my heels out, man. They're playing St. Peter's.
I'll get back on my couch.
I gotta get on mine too, man. I want to see my heels. Hopefully, my heels will get to the Final Four. So hold tight.
And this is what black women are trying to cling to. This is what you want to keep passing through your womb. Oh, and they got the Moynihan report in here too. While SYSBM's philosophy is deeply alarming to the degree that it's about to become a terrorist group, its foundation, the perception of black people as pathologically violent, lazy, and unintelligent, is hardly new. You know what I think she's saying? I think she's saying, oh, they have the same philosophy as white supremacists. They have the same philosophy as white supremacists, is what she's saying. That's what she's saying. The language of black respectability and the betterment of the black race have existed for generations. And guess what that was called? It's called Blackiamenti. Better the race by whitening it out, right? Right? Ain't that racial whitening?
But she said better the race by whitening it out, but she's bleaching her skin. You can't make this stuff up, Mr. Palmer.
And you know what? Also, talking about aborting black baby boys.
Right. She did.
My thing is, you trying to tell them to do abortion. Why don't you tell them to prevent the pregnancy?
Right.
See, but I'm the dummy off Cottage Grove. See, they smarter than me. So instead of telling them don't have kids with a black man, you tell them get pregnant so they can get an abortion.
Right.
And that's why it's over 20 million abortion just in the black community.
Sadly. Mm-hmm.
Right. But when you tell them, hey, protect your egg, don't get knocked up by one, don't have sex with one. No, you talking about just getting abortion. That's what I say. That's some baby mama tears logic. And even some of the women in here saying it's unbelievable, but it's believable. This is why I got one. This is one of the reasons why I got my page out here for y'all to see things for what it really is. And it got big impacts.
Right.
They have a big supporter. She get paid.
Right. She does get paid. Big.
Yeah, she get paid.
Right.
I just can't sell out, and I can't lose my integrity for capital gain. I just can't. That's why y'all, we need people like y'all to support our channels, because this the only way gonna be afloat. Because telling the truth, be honest, we don't make a lot of money.
It doesn't, right?
It don't. We got to tickle your chin and lie you, man, and give you false hope, like the preachers and Derrick Jacksons and Cynthia G's and the rest of the gang. That's why I'm telling y'all that it's very important that y'all support financially and also sharing the content, liking it, word of mouth, because of reasons like that. You know what I mean? Because of reasons like that. People love evil. People love separation. People love destroying another class or another color, another gender and stuff like that. That's why it's very important. If y'all say y'all support it, that's why you got to show it.
Right. You got to support programs like Mr. Palmer, the culture clinician. You're not going to find too many licensed therapists that are doing what I'm doing. You know, sometimes I don't even know why I'm doing it, because I'm like, you know, I put my license on the line. I'm not doing it wrong, but, you know, it's not popular what I'm doing. And, you know, Mr. Palmer, what he's doing, he's trying to add clarity and bring insight to the struggles that a lot of men are going through. Mr. Palmer, you've heard stories. You've done great shows on men deleting themselves. You've done shows on men being treated harshly. Perfect Blackness was on my show. He was one of the subscribers that came on my show from you, and I appreciate that. And he talked about some of the struggles that he went through. But this woman definitely has a lot of cognitive dissonance. You know, in the clinical world, that means, you know, they have something going on inside their head that they can't receive the truth. And she also is a victim of death. She denies the evidence. She becomes enraged when you present her with the evidence. She argues through ad hominem attacks, and she fights or flees. And so this woman is fighting because she's dealing with cognitive dissonance. And Mr. Palmer, you see it all the time. You have different folks coming on your channel. I was looking at one of your shows. Guy called you a scum. I don't know what it was. But, you know, the thing I love about you, man, it don't phase you no more. They can say anything. It don't phase you.
I can tell that, man.
Yeah, you like a duck with water rolling off his back. It doesn't phase you anymore, man.
Man, I play Reverend X all the time.
Right. Where'd you get that resilience from?
My dad. My dad didn't give a damn about what you say. He spoke his truth and truth. And let me let my partner say it. How it go?
Truth is what it is.
Truth is what it is. I love that, man. I love that.
You don't like it, then you know what I'm saying. Y'all know the Reverend X skit.
Right. I love that. Truth is what it is, man. That is funny, man. That was fun. Cynthia G selling that white guy. What's that white guy be saying? I don't know what he be saying. You know, he was in the court. He was in the interrogation room. That's what Cynthia G be saying, man. But like Supreme 10 say, 36,000 babies are deleted every month by American black women. But you won't.
It don't have to be if you prevent it. Just like y'all say, wear condoms. Okay, they got female condoms. They got the shot. They got the patch. They got the IUDs. They got the what else? They got the what else? They got the pill. They got so many remedies for you to prevent your pregnancy. That's why I say y'all choose single motherism. Y'all baby mama tears, choose single motherism. And then cry about it later. You want to put on a black man or whatever man. And actually, you the one got the power to decide if you want to have a baby or not. We don't have that jurisdiction. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap, man. And you know, until we hold our women accountable to the same level of accountability that we hold our men, this cycle of ignorance, this cycle of disdain, this cycle of brokenness, in my mind, Mr. Palmer, is going to continue to permeate. And it don't appear to be getting any better, man. What's been some of the struggles you've had, man, with, continuing to come up with good content? And do you ever deal with the backlash you get with the name calling and all that stuff? And I know you said it don't phase you, but have there ever been a show where you really got eviscerated by so-called trolls?
Not really. The worst that I could say happened was I got a strike because of this baby mama Terrace, who's a YouTuber that that make shows just like Cynthia G about black men and the black manosphere hating women and violent and all that stuff. When she was she was an officer having sex with the police chief in New York, and she tried to sue for $100 million, stating that he was beating her and making her have sex for 7 years. But what saved this brother was the text message that he put out and showed it, so they threw it out. So the same woman is telling y'all women that black men is this and expendable and boredom and all this stuff. You tried to throw a man under the bus because he didn't want to be in a real relationship with you. So that's why I tell you that these baby mama terrorists are only here to destroy, not just men. They're here to destroy children, men, and society.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when people like that, that's why I say you got to really find out what it is. And that's why she tried to do a $100 million lawsuit. Go look it up and put out a $100 million lawsuit against chief police in New York, and you'll see her name and everything. And he came out with text messages with her still trying to have sex with him. But he didn't want her no more because she was, I guess, crazy.
And it seems like to me, man, that it's what you call queen worship, man. It seems like queen worship, that, they can do no wrong. When black men are doing the right thing, it's the black man's fault. When black men are not doing the right, doing the wrong thing, it's still black men's fault. So, you got innocent black men that are not even part of the things she's talking about. But once again, this woman castigates all black men with all issues and all issues pertinent to the community. And, it's unfortunate, man, because as you said earlier, I don't see it getting better in our lifetime. I think you and I will be dead and gone. It got to burn down and be rebuilt back like a phoenix. And it's got to start with the church. It got to start with, masculine men standing firm and telling the truth. It got to be about, other women being accountable and other women working with our men that are good, like the sisters in this chat, and holding each other accountable. But, when black women begin to speak out and hold other women accountable, a lot of times, Mr. Palmer, they're ashamed into silence. And, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate because, we need the community, man, if we're going to get stronger. We're on the precipice of potentially war. Ukraine to Russia is having a war. I don't see how the black community would survive, man, if war of the barbarians came to this door, to our door. What's your take on that?
There'll be a lot of sellouts jumping over the Zaddy and everything else, bro. They'll throw other black people under the bus. We wouldn't survive. We won't survive. Again, fellas, keep your veins cold. If y'all ain't kept y'all veins cold, just listen to Cynthia G should make your veins get cold. Because there's so many Cynthia G's out here, male and female, that go against other men. I'm just telling you. So if you want to keep your veins cold, then I hope today showed you why you should keep your veins cold and change the laws in your mind.
No doubt, no doubt. Sweet Little Bean said, I commend Mr. Palmer for confronting Kay from Lapeef. She's just as problematic as Cynthia G, if not worse, because she hides behind being pro-black. What's your take on that, Mr. Palmer?
As far as KA, me and her actually talk a lot. And you would think, since I hate all black women and all that stuff, and shout out to this young lady for that, but she actually respects me and we talk often. Kayla was the one. Kayla was trying to justify why men are being alienated on child support and all that stuff, man. But I wasn't going. I don't care what show I get on. I'm gonna speak my truth, and truth is what it is, and ain't nobody gonna shut my mouth.
Right, right.
The unfortunate thing about being on the Lapeef show is Kay invited me on the show. Kay invited me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guys, not JR, none of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a show with women.
Mm-hmm.
When they had a men panel, you've been on that panel. They ain't never been invited on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
See, they don't want me to tell my truth over there, but she was willing to do it, so I give her that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, even if Kay is a Cynthia G, at least you wouldn't listen to me. You got brothers out here that say that we for brotherhood and we together and all that stuff. and they look at you and say, "Oh, nah, you do this, you look like this, you talk this way, or you wear that, you don't dress like we do." I ain't got time for no counterfeit ass lane. I don't.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, man. That's funny, man. That's real funny. So what we're gonna do? Let me see how much of this is left, and then we're gonna drop the link, man, and we're gonna chop it up. I'm gonna play about 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes. Then we're gonna end this, and I'm gonna have one of the guys to come up. They gotta ask you the questions, man. We're gonna have some final words, and we're gonna talk about solutions. But hold tight.
That's what they're talking about. How you were bettering the black race by whitening it up. That's what Mad Bus Driver is talking about. I already told y'all who the biggest white supremacists are, and they're not white. They are black. That is what he's talking about. He's talking about racial whitening. That is what Mad Bus Driver is telling black men to do. Engage in racial whitening. What color skin do you think the Asian and Latinas are going to have? Black woman said, mejor la raza. Yes. Or blackiamente. It's the same thing. That term is the same thing. He's telling black men to engage in racial whitening. Black women is sitting here like, no, we got to continue to give birth to black men. If we don't give birth to black men, there's no black people. Yeah, that's black men's goal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's black men's goal. The language of black respectability and the betterment of the black race has existed for generations. Its most prominent proponents range from scholar W.E.B. Du Bois to pop culture figures like Bill Cosby. We already see where Bill Cosby ended up. The black manosphere is fueled by this presumed cultural deficiency and shades of black respectability politics. Again, she says, the black manosphere are white supremacists. In short term, that's what she could have said. That's what she could have, she should have said. The black manosphere has a white supremacist ideology. According to Fountain, the 1965 The Negro Family, The Case for Natural Action, or the Moynihan Report, is a regularly quoted text in the black manosphere, often referred to as the Moynihan Report, what I just told you guys, and commissioned by then President Johnson. This report has for decades created a pseudo-anthropological argument claiming that black people and their culture were at fault for their own second-class citizenship.
Enough for her, man. Yeah, she's enough for her. But anyway, this is going to be the segment of the show, Mr. Palmer, and some say we don't come up with anything viable, but this is a segment of the show that we're going to allow a few guys to pop in, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and ask you a few questions. But this is the segment of the show that we're going to have.
This is the part of the show where we find solutions.
All right, let's talk about solutions, Mr. Palmer. Let's talk about solutions. Where do we go from here, brother? Where do we go from here? Because some say, we need to talk about solutions, and where do we go from here, dog?
The only solution you can do is for yourselves and yours.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about it, we have to spread awareness. We have to put it out there. Because as long as we keep quiet and don't say nothing, they're going to continue to think it's right, it's fair, and it's equal.
Right.
And it's good.
Right.
So we have to spread awareness. Because like a lot of people said in the chat, I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I said certain things. You don't know because they're not going to put it out there on the front line because it'll go against the establishment. It'll go against the code.
Mm-hmm.
It'll go against the baby mama terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Cynthia G just said, she got an issue with men having kids with other race, but at the same time, you told black women don't have sex and get pregnant by one of these black men.
Right.
I told you, I don't entertain niggas like this. I'd say it, niggas like this, because these are the ones I don't take seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Make up your mind. Either leave black men alone or not.
Right.
You should be glad they're going to the promised land, going somewhere else and leaving you alone.
Right. I agree. We're terrorists. We don't take care of our kids. We're horrible. We're dusty.
You should be proud. You should be
right.
glad. But as far as, like I say, we have to change the laws in our mind and take care of ourselves first. We have to spread awareness. Men, stop being quiet. Keep your receipts and don't get caught down that rabbit hole. And definitely get yourselves in order. Women too.
Right, women too. The good sisters. The good sisters.
That's what I said, the real ones.
Right, the real ones. Right. Let me read through some of these comments. And if there are any men or women that like to come up and ask Mr. Palmer a few questions, feel free to, because I'm about to go see my Heels play in a minute because we got to be St. Peter's. We got to get to the Final Four so I can talk trash. But GDO said all the members of her family are married to whites. She's bleaching her skin, talk about projection. She's something else. I doubt if she has a mirror in her apartment. Yeah, that's the Medusa complex. I totally agree. Man said the solution is to save yourself, black man, period. Right. You save yourself. Focus on yourself. Work on yourself. Love yourself. Get your paper up. Come see me and get some therapy done. Get some non-diagnostic consultations. And we can talk about the schemas that you've been dealing with, the pathologies you dealt with as a child, and how to move forward as men. I believe, Mr. Palmer, that black men and all men should get the best bang for their buck. The Ingram experience, shout out to him, talks about relationship capitalism. And that basically means, Mr. Palmer, that you use the market to dictate the kind of women that you want. If you can't get those women with relationship capitalism, it says, well, you go where you can find them. If you can't find them here in America, you go abroad. Like I said, my homeboy Aguapo's in Rio, Brazil right now. And he's talking to a beautiful woman. Might even do a show on him soon called El Guapo versus Stella. I think I'm going to do a show on that, man. And, he's traveling abroad, man. And what's your take on men, man, exercising that option to travel abroad? You and I are married, we're both married men. But if you was a single man, what would you be dating modern women in America, or would you travel abroad? How would you move, man?
I mean, it's some in America that's good. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
Just because men are going overseas to travel don't mean they're going to find a woman. Because
right.
I know brothers over there they got businesses over there.
Got businesses, right?
And got a home out there. They go back and forth. So it ain't just somewhere to get a woman. But I mean, let's be real. If you're not liked in your neighborhood, what do? You move out of it. Where you have less headaches, less BS, less turmoil, less toxic. You make a change, and don't be sad and shamed about it.
Right.
So I don't have no problem with it going overseas. Just again, if y'all go overseas, make sure you know the laws, because they got child support and they look out for this. They got these feminist ideologies all around the world. Majority of these countries, especially the European.
Right, especially European, right.
Yeah, so you got to be careful and know where you're going. So you know the laws out there too. All
right, so I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Palmer. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
I have no problem with no issue, no nothing.
Right. I have an issue with either. And listen, I don't care if the women go. If the women feel like they can't find a viable man here in America, go abroad. But the only problem is those men are raised in traditional cultures. They don't tolerate what Western men tolerate. What's your take on that?
No, you tell the truth, but unless they get some sucker that's so thirsty to come over here and get that card, they'll deal with a baby mama test after the fact. I seen guys get married and then she start controlling them, using them and everything else, and then put them on child support. So I have seen that happen. So yeah, you got to be careful.
Right, you got to be careful. Right.
All time, they've been traveling more than we have. Ain't nothing new. We late in the game.
And like Luke Casey say, stay away from these terrible women. A lot of men want traditional women like this beautiful woman. Stay away from these terrible women. Men want traditional women. They have been conditioned to serve them so they can meet their mandate on the earth. But Mr. Palmer, I did a show last night called The Red Heifer and Red Pills. And many men would like to get a red heifer. A red heifer is a euphemism for a perfect sacrifice for a king. In the Hebrew, the red heifer was a sign that the Messiah was coming back. And, the gospel said that the bride prepared herself for the bridegroom. But, you got 30% of men that are virgins now, Mr. Palmer. What are they going to get for their sacrifices of being virgins? Some of these men are virgins because there's a percentage that's socially awkward. But some of these men are just average guys or guys that, based on religious convictions, whether they're Muslims or Christians, they're just choosing to be abstinent until they get married. But where are they going to get their wife from, Mr. Palmer? When are they going to get the woman of their dreams? They waited all these years, and are they going to get the same thing that they waited for? I would say no. What's your take on that?
I agree. I'll say no, especially dealing with the American ideology. They gonna mess around and give it to the wrong person, and don't get them knocked up. Oh, you getting set up for failure.
All right, Igor, what's up, dog? What are the solutions, man? And what question would you like to ask Mr. Palmer?
Hey, salute to you, man, Mr. Palmer. Hey, enjoy a lot of good content, man.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate the fact that you keep it real, man. One of the things a lot of the people don't understand is they assume that a lot of brothers, especially me with a background in law enforcement, don't support your content and don't support your message. We get put on child support too, so it ain't like, and that's why when people talk about people investigating the manosphere, whatever. Man, I used to be sitting in the squad car listening to Tom Likas and Coach Greg Adams and all that shit. You know what I mean? What do you think this is?
Hey, you know what? And I tell people who come to this system, they don't care where you work, where you from, you in the hood, you in the suburbs, black, white, blue, or green, what politics you roll with. I know a lot of police officers and sheriffs. Hell, there's some judges on child support. Anybody can get it. It don't matter.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to come into, man. Just say what's up, man. Because to be honest with you, man, me like you know that ain't nothing going to change with the child support law.
No, it doesn't change.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, women vote.
Right.
And no one's going to vote for nothing against their best interests. You know what I mean? I just want to come out here and say, what's up to you, man? I appreciate you making the content, because a lot of people out here, they'll see the hat that says F child support and not understanding that you're not saying that men shouldn't take care of their kids. What you're saying is that the system itself is jacked up.
Right. And that's the reason why. $51 billion reason.
Right. And so that's what I want to say, man. And you know, and I just want to say what's up. I know Kosher want to get to that St. Peter's victory today.
Well, I don't know, man. You know, I'm gonna cross my fingers. It's NCAA, man. You see, I'm representing my Tar Heels, man. So I don't know, but you know, this has been a powerful show talking about changing the law of your mind. You know, because you know, it appears that men like Mr. Palmer, like you, Ingram, I got a background in law enforcement too. That anytime masculine men begin to speak out, they are sequestered, or they're put in a position where they're shamed into silence. And I believe that men and women should have the right to speak freely. I don't care if women disagree with me. I don't believe in censorship. I believe a woman should have the right to say what she wants to say. But I don't believe that you're going to bump your gums, but then I got to be quiet when I want to say what I want to say. I got a problem with that. Go ahead, Mr. Palmer.
No, I agree. That's my thing. I'm not here to censor nobody because I don't know nobody. Because once you open that door, they'll start censoring you. You know, that's how they got Farrakhan when they got rid of certain people. Oh, you got to get rid of Farrakhan too. So they had no choice. So that's what I'm saying. No, you got a right to free speech, but don't tell me to shut my mouth and keep my head low while you get to be all high and mighty and tell lies.
Right. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. Shout out to Top Gun. Top Gun said that I predict that St. Pete's will get viciously pounded by UNC.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Well, you know,
that's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
That's the truth of what he's saying, but that's a tired talking point. But I do respect his position. He said there are men and women overseas who's willing to marry an American for a green card. They will ditch them once they get there. In theory, that's a myth. Are there some that would do that? Yes, there's some T-Kings that would do that, but that's not the overwhelming majority. I know plenty of men that are expats and got wives, and the women love him. Now, if he's a lame, you know, and he was a simp here in America, he didn't know how to conduct himself, then you're right, that could happen. But in general, people always assume that when, you know, these women get green, they want to get green cards to come back to America. That's a myth. Many of the women don't even want to come back to America, period. They love their own country. So it's a myth that they want to come back here to America. What's your take on that, Mr. Palmer?
Well, when it comes, I know a lot of a few brothers who married. A matter of fact, Perfect Blackness.
Right.
And if you're gonna bring somebody over here,
South Africa, I think she's from South Africa.
You bring somebody over here from another country, man. You definitely got to keep them away from these feminist ideology. I'll tell you that. You can't have them around your mom if she got that ideology, or your sister. You gotta keep her away, because they will try to manipulate. Girl, you stupid. Girl, you stupid. Why you over there cleaning up? We don't do that over here. You ain't got to do all that, because here you could do this and do that and still get paid. So,
right.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If I did something like that, she's staying over there, because I don't want her getting caught up in that and flipping the script and set me up, because, you know, they run that script. There's a couple of guys who dealt with some outside their race, think it was gonna be different, and What they didn't realize is, even though they're not black, they still had a feminist ideology, and she did the same thing, if not worse. You got to be careful all the way around.
No, right. We do, man. I agree. We got to be careful all the way around, man. Totally agree. Totally agree. Ingram, real quick, what are the solutions, man? And we're going to end this stream. It's been a good show. What are the solutions, brother?
What are the solutions to the current problem right now? I mean, to be honest with you, you want to be straight honest with you. I think right now with the young men, the only option is if they want to get married and have a family, you have to find women that are traditional, that have been indoctrinated with that tradition. That means they have one, low or no body count. They have had raised in a home where they had both parents involved, where they have checks and balances beyond them. You got to look at grandma, grandpa, whatever. Because what happened with these modern women and so on and so forth, it's not just them you have to worry about. It's a coalition behind them.
Right.
These feminist people, their friends, social media. So you got a whole bunch of crap to deal with.
Colleges. You got colleges.
Colleges, right. Colleges. Yeah. The main one is colleges, brother.
Feminists.
To be honest with you, I tell the brothers right now, just sit it out until if they don't change the laws, ain't no need for you to take part in it. A man, I can start a family now, even though I'm like older now. I can start a family right now. That's the one benefit that men have, and we see the marriage rate going down as it is. Like, I can't in good faith tell the brothers to go get married and get hooked up when I know the system is extremely weighted against them. Right. That's why we see some of these channels where they're not really advocating for men, because there's been no changes in the laws.
Right. Very true.
So I'm not gonna be like sending men to their slaughter and shit.
Right. They just want men to be going with the wind. They just want you to jump off the cliff and saying yippee yay. Don't take anything in consideration. Just to give your life for free. They want you just to give your resources, your time. And and the only thing she's supposed to have, is a vagina, and don't have no wife skills, don't know what it is to be a wife, and they would just want the man to give his freedom away for free. Sweet Lula Bean is in the house. How you doing, dear?
Hi, Kosha. Hi, Mr. Palmer.
So
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
We can hear you, sister.
An Ingram experience, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I just went blank for a moment. I wrote briefly about, so there was this movement that they tried bringing about in South Africa called Men Are Trash. And men really vehemently fought. They spoke from traditional perspectives. They spoke from, being young men, but they refused to take responsibility for the experiences, that women have found themselves in. But I really, like I say, my hope is that you guys galvanize the white community, the red pill community. They have a conference that takes place every year. And it's actually headed by white female advocates for men's rights. And it would be nice to get to that point. Look at Studio 21 and all the conferences they have. Right. But it needs to start being a movement now. You guys have a lot of supporters, and like I say, there are women, mothers and sisters who have brothers, like I say, who've been affected by the law. They are women whose sons are missing. Nobody talks about how many missing Black boys there are, and Black men, and no one is looking, no one is talking about it. No one is talking about the sexual abuse of Black boys.
Right.
And it's prevalent. So there are women who are affected by these laws, who are affected by what's happened to their sons. And like I say, if you guys come together and you build it, we will follow. But men have to lead. You guys have to start figuring out how are you going to get together and give us something to follow. Give us something to fight for.
Right. No, I totally agree. One of the guys, Perfect Blackness, that Mr. Palmer know, he's on my channel at Mr. Palmer. His wife is actually from South Africa. He married a South African woman. And I was telling a lot of guys that are single, if they can't find their wife here, there are plenty of beautiful women in South Africa. You know, a lot of them, you can find virgins in South Africa easy. Why is it that you can find virgins so easy in South Africa, Lulu Bean, compared to the West, in your opinion?
I don't know if it's just South Africa, because remember, it's Africa, and
Okay.
Even though we're different tribes and different languages, there's still traditional values and cultures that people have to follow, and that means, you know what I mean. That means a lot. People still follow culture, and it's a part of their spirituality. Culture and spirituality is one. So I think that's what affects it. But they're really trying to infiltrate it slowly. You're seeing these reality series. There's one now. I think it's called African Black and Rich on Netflix. You guys should check it out. And and there's, you know, I think it's based in South Africa.
Right.
And just see what they're trying to push. And they can try, but there's another side, like I say, that as long as men fight it, as long as men demand respect from women, and walk away and have the power to walk away when they don't get that respect, women will change. But like I say, you have to give us something to fight for, and Black women have to know that you're not going to take their mess.
Right. Well, me and Mr. Palmer was saying, and I'm sure Ingram agrees too, we don't feel like the change will be in our lifetime. It's going to take a Herculean effort to change the trajectory of the current world that we live in. There are going to be, I feel, small groups that can come together and try to rate or more or less have some small or minute levels of change. But from what I call a macro level, a broader perspective, until you have these counterculture movements silenced, or more or less when you have masculinity restored in America, I don't see it happening in our lifetime, Sweet Lulu Bean. What's your take on it?
Black women need to be triggered. Black men need to start talking about how Black women are not supporting them. Black men need to start talking about the Chris Browns who have been accused of false, the word that we can't say, charges, sexual assault charges. We need to start talking, about who's that woman that the attorney had. But what I'm trying to say basically is there's so many examples of us as Black women letting Black men down, and it's got to change from, when will women change, to women aren't supportive, to women aren't changing, so that you get women calling in and starting to participate. You know what I mean? But you need to start calling us out, and we need to call a spade a spade.
Right. And we're beginning to do it. Many brothers are beginning to speak out. Many brothers are beginning to, start, saying the things they need to say. I'm doing it. The Ingram Experience is doing it. Mr. Palmer is doing it. And we say unequivocally, we love Black women. I've been married to a Black woman for 26 years, but I always say, why should we always have to qualify that? Why as Black men do we always have to qualify we love Black men? No other race of men have to qualify their position. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. But in America, we just got to always prove, because we drag our knuckles, because many times we feel like we're slaves to the women in our families. But I share this with you guys. I love my sisters, but they get out of line, they can get this work. I love my mom. She get out of line, she can get this work. I don't bow to none of the women in my family. Do I treat them right? Yeah. But they get out of line, their mouth get greasy, they can get this work. I'll be the Black version of Mr. Clean with their mouth get greasy dealing with me. And so, I just don't deal with the nonsense or the disrespect. And that's why I try to encourage and empower a lot of these young men to start living their lives on their own terms.
But that's what I'm saying. And this is something that I love about Mr. Palmer is, like you said, as a Black man, you always have to qualify before you put your argument. And I'm saying that has to stop. That you need to put women in the position where we have to defend ourselves to Black men, and say, and put us in a position where we have to qualify ourselves. Are we being supportive? Black men should stop saying that there are good women out there. Where are they? Where are these examples of these good women?
Right. It's far and few in between.
Exactly.
Hey, Kosher.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I hear what you're saying, Sweet Little Bean. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, that perspective, the biggest problem what you have with the Black culture, particularly, I mean, obviously women fought hard to not listen to men and we have a culture now that's completely matriarchal in terms of we had so many years of these young men being raised by single mothers. Like 80% of the kids are born to single mothers. So even they have the spirit of the hyena, because a lot of these guys will come in here, these hyena simps, and they'll attack guys like Mr. Palmer, attack So you have and basically a situation where you have men on the internet, even in the manosphere space, that are giving men bad advice because they have sold their souls for a couple likes or a couple YouTube dollars.
Right.
They don't have any integrity. So you don't really have a good, strong collective of men. Like Mr. Palmer is unapologetically masculine. I am. So is the Kosher. So you don't really have a lot of real masculinity. And the channels that are fighting for men, are far and few between, because to them, they have to pander a little bit to the women. All the channels have to pander a little bit to the women to get money or to build their channel, to build their platforms.
Right.
Me, I don't care about it. I just care about the issue. But another issue that we have is an issue of that's why I coined the term relationship capitalism is this. I used to tell the brothers on the blocks all the time, right? I'd be working down in the city and they will complain about how the corner store was a bunch of a-holes, treated them like crap, right? And then they go right back to that same corner store, argue with the guy, spend their money. So the guy never took them serious. Nobody takes them serious. So what happens now is a lot of Black men, they really complain about their issues, but they deal with the same women. It's like going to a business. If a business is giving you poor customer service, they act like fools, and you keep going there and giving them your money, there's no incentive to change. It's the same way with Black women. If the guys are in the DMs all day long on social media, simping all day long, because we got so many simps that have been, in these situations, there's no incentive to do anything. Then they have Big Daddy government in their pocket. Then you have voting blocks, and they have so on and so forth. Politicians, everything telling them how great they are. The biggest problem I see is what gets rid of the problem with people, like that business who provides you poor customer service. If there was a business that opened across the street that offered better customer service, now there's an incentive for that business to either change its ways or they're going to go out of business. Right. And I think now, if you want to really help Black men in America, show us a roadmap to all these traditional feminine women in your neighborhood so we can get a whole bunch of them.
Right.
Now we have competition.
Right.
There's a guy, I don't know what his name is.
Give us a roadmap.
Somebody in the chat will have to come up with the name, but there's a guy who was speaking ill of Kevin Samuels and even went as far as to say he was gay. And as he listened to Kevin Samuel and to, I don't know if it's also Kevin Samuel and some of the other stations, he changed his view. But this is a fight where where preach, we can't be focused on who doesn't hear. We need to, like I say, you need to start galvanizing. You need to start fighting. I speak to a lot of young men every day, and I'm also putting them onto these channels. And the thing is, there are a lot of young men who don't know that the movement exists as yet.
Right.
Who don't know because these channels don't come on their, it doesn't come on your playlist when you're on YouTube because you don't go to those channels. Right. So you need to understand that this movement is just starting. It's in its infancy. And it will grow, but you have to keep the momentum.
Sister, that the community itself rejects Kevin Samuels or any masculine voice. Remember, the political drive now is for any issues in the Black community is attached to the alphabet community now. So realistically,
how many subscribers does he have? The Ingram Experience. How many people are on Instagram? What I'm trying to say
what they're doing is
that's true. I agree. Your focus, but the thing is, the problem is there. The problem will always exist. Yes, there are people that are feminine, there are men that are feminized. Yes, there's your beta cocks. There's all those issues, but we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with the fight at hand. We're concerned with the message at hand.
I understand what you're saying, but here's how you solve the problem. Just like with the Black community, if you want to rebuild the nuclear family, you get rid of government empowerment. But just like everything else with women, if you want women to change, just like you want that business to change, you take your business elsewhere and create competition. And that's just capitalism. They're not listening to the greatest society despises men like me, the kosher, Mr. Palmer, Kevin Samuels, and anybody else. There's a rejection of us. That's why we're in these YouTube spaces to reach. Kevin Samuels has 1 million subscribers, but I would guarantee you that 80% of those subscribers are haters. They're women that came in for average at best. Because when he leaves off that platform and he goes in to talk to these women, they reject him completely. You understand?
But you're not talking about the people that he's converted.
Well, there's people that he converted, but in terms of the masses, I don't see any changes going on in society. So what I'm saying is that if there's no need for a business to change, why would anybody change if the deck is completely stacked in your favor? Politically,
how many men
socially,
are like kosher providing travel? How many men are like kosher providing an experience to Black men, saying, listen, I can take you out of America. I can show you that there are Black women outside of America that are traditional, that will value you simply because you're an American man, that you are enough. There's not a lot of those. This movement is in its infancy.
But that movement will work.
Started. We can't keep focusing, like I say, on what is wrong with America. And also, like I say, you guys need to come together. We need to form an organization and start fighting these laws. You don't, how many men, like I said, even celebrities, you don't think you can get them on who have also been taken to court? Everyone is talking about Sierra and this Sierra's prayer. But she took Future to court, trying to make sure that he couldn't see his son. There are so many men who have gone through what you guys are talking about, Black men. And like I said, you need to provide a place for people to come. You need to provide a cause for people to fight. Otherwise, it's just going to keep being talked.
Well, listen, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. Lulu Bean, I love you, dear. It starts with you. I think that you know about those beautiful Hoysian women in South Africa, Zulus. There are a lot of beautiful women in your country for single men that want wives. They can't find a wife here. Lulu Bean, I'll be in contact with you, and I can put those men in the right direction. There are a lot of men that are looking for wives, and if they want traditional women, then your country is perfect. Because I've been doing some research on it. And your country is one of the top countries for men wanting traditional women, because there's not enough traditional women here in America. I'm not saying that they don't exist here in America, but they're far and few in between, and many don't want to change that power. But thank you, dear. Mr. Palmer, we're about to end the show, and sweet Lulu Bean, thank you, dear. What would you get from this conversation, man, as we're about to end the show?
As far as going overseas?
There's everything, man.
Oh, I mean, hey, change it all equals to change the laws of your mind. A lot of people didn't even travel. Now people are traveling more now than ever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people wouldn't go outside their neighborhood. Now they're going outside their neighborhood. Now they started to have. See, the thing is, when it's all said and done, guys, all I want y'all to realize that you have options.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have options. You don't have to settle for less because of where you're from and your situation or the baby mama terrorist. None of that. You have options. We always had options, but we didn't know because of all this manipulation that either your mother taught you, baby mama Terry's mother, or, social media, the media, politicians, and all that stuff. You have to change the laws in your mind if you want to make change. It's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. And keep your veins cold while you do it, because they're going to shame you for traveling overseas. They're going to shame you for going your own way. They're going to shame you for not having kids and not getting married. They're going to shame you for living a free agent lifestyle. They're going to shame you to tell the world that black is beautiful. They're going to shame you to tell you masculinity is a must. They're going to shame you when you tell the truth. So I told you, keep your veins cold, do the Reverend X. Y'all know what Reverend X is. And keep doing what you're doing and better yourselves. And I'm going to tell y'all again, change the laws of your mind.
Change the laws of your mind, right. I totally agree. Sweet Lulu Bean, please send me, dear, some information on about, you know, the people in your country. There are some young men that are looking for women like that. So please send me some information about women in your country. And I'm definitely going to put together something to help those men. So thank you, Sweet Lulu Bean, for coming on. Thank you to Ingram Experience. And before we sign off, let me send a special shout out to MC Wellens in Recovery. He said that
that's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
He said that I work for LA County and stay in closed door meetings. Alphabet community confuses our talking points. Right. It happens all the time. And JJ, go ahead, man.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to interrupt your apologies, man. I just want to clarify something. Like for me, it's about empowerment. If I go to a business and they offer me poor service, like what black men get in the black community, I'm going to go to another place. That's power. That's how you change the world. You don't sit around bitching like a bitch and crying outside the business. You go to another business. Right. So women like Sweet Lulu Bean, the best thing she can do for black men is point them directly to a feminine, traditional woman that respect masculinity and male authority. Right. To hell with these broads and what they think about whatever. You work hard every day. You deserve a peaceful home as a black man. I ain't trying to fix nothing. I'm trying to point brothers to where they can win and be successful. That's how you do community. Peace, brothers.
No doubt. I totally agree, man. It's been a good stream. Thank you once again to Sweet Lulu Bean. Thank you once again to my man, Mr. Palmer. And Mr. Palmer, man, we will do it again soon, brother. I want to come back on your platform and chop it up, man. It was a powerful show, man.
Definitely. Lastly, y'all definitely subscribe to the channel. Just type in Mr. Palmer.
All right, yeah. Y'all check out Mr. Palmer's channel. Mr. Palmer, Tim, drop the link. And once again, guys, thank you for this show. This has been a very powerful show. And Mr. Palmer, I look forward to supporting you again in the future, man. And thank you again, brother, as we seek to advance this mission and seek to advance this cause. So we about to sign off, and I appreciate it, brother. So I told you guys that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized and true to form. What Mr. Palmer talked about is true. Once you change the law of your mind, you will never see the world the same again. And so when you guys start loving yourself, focused on yourself, and doing what's best for you, you're going to start getting the outcomes that you want. This has been another great show. It's been another classic. And guys, we're about to sign off. And once again, thank you to Sweet Lulu Bean. Hopefully I can get in contact with you, dear. And we'll talk about solutions as we continue to move this agenda forward.
Tell them run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies.